Hey, everybody. It's Chad with Nobody Else's Auto. 7 o'clock Sunday evening, time for some Sunday night live chat. The Halloween edition, I guess, since Halloween is tomorrow. Let's see. Randy's here with us. Charles is on with us on YouTube. Are we connecting on Facebook? It looks like we are rolling. As always, we are live on two formats, both Facebook and YouTube. So as you see me back and forth, glancing back and forth, and if you hear me talking about a comment you didn't see, it was probably on the other format. Mike from New Waverly, Texas is on with us as well. Still getting a little bit used to the new Facebook format again, since they changed that again about a month ago. So still trying to keep tabs and kind of get used to that. I'm glancing back and forth. You kind of get in your rhythm, then they change it. So fortunately, YouTube kind of sticks with things, flows pretty smooth that way. So Kevin L's here, David W. Frank's on with us. Gary made it tonight. Looks like we've got a few people getting on Facebook as well. And there we go. YouTube starting to pick back up too. So Jason made it tonight. Anyway, hope everybody had a good week. Everybody's ready for Halloween tomorrow. Dad's on with us. So Dennis is here. Number one made it tonight. And trying to keep these error messages under control on Facebook. Let's see. Alan from Arizona's on. Pete made it tonight. Great to see you guys all back. Number one's cooking on the grill, so he may be in and out with us tonight, but that's okay. That's pretty important business. You got to better take care of that too. So Hector's on Facebook with us. Anyway, like I said, hope everybody had a good week. I'm finally back in the normal groove after the auction. It takes a few weeks to kind of get back into the normal world after the auction ends. Johnny Z made it. Kenny's here. Reno's on with us. But what's been going on this week in my world? Well, I know we talked about a few weeks ago. I showed you the article in Old Cars Weekly on the 7598 that we pulled out of a garage that Dad and I found. That is now on their Facebook page as well. I just shared that to the Nobody Else's Auto Facebook page. So if you don't get Old Cars Weekly, didn't get a chance to read the article, it is now posted on their Facebook page, and I just shared it to the Nobody Else's Auto page right before we jumped on. So if you wanted to check that out and read it, it is posted now on Facebook. Tweedly D's here. Tim, is there ever a normal week? Well, that's true. I'm back in a normal groove where I'm kind of hauling cars, shipping parts, things like that, as opposed to trying to keep up with the auction stuff. So Bill Disc is here with us. Rick's on Facebook. Eric's on as well on YouTube. So great to see everybody back. As always, Brian Dispatch is here. But since I was kind of in a normal week, I did actually pick up some cars. I actually did some productive stuff that I needed to get done, which was kind of weird, but that needs to happen too sometimes. So at least I'm making some headway finally. I did buy some more toys this week. So we'll see if any of you guys like some of the new toys, because there's one right down here in the pile right now. There's going to be a few more coming up over the next several weeks. So I got more cool toys, plus a lot more cool stuff that we're going to be checking out on Toy Tuesdays as well. Even some of the stuff that I'm going to be keeping. But like I said, some of the stuff is going to pop up on the auction for you guys as well. Let's see. Brian's here. Bill Wagaman's here. Speaking of the auction stuff, we know we got a lot of license plate fans on here. Did anybody see what the number one 1904 Chicago plate that sold? Did anybody see that auction result? 1904 is when Chicago first started metal license plates, and they sold number one last week for $34,000 for one license plate. So I think the license plate world is alive and well. So they are cool pieces. They are great memorabilia. They obviously don't take up a ton of real estate to display, and that's why we all like them as well. So, but I thought that was pretty interesting to see that one brought 34 grand. So I think the pre-auction estimate was 2,000 to 4,000, and it did 34,000. So maybe the license plate collecting isn't quite such a bad idea. Brandon's here. So yeah, you can check that one out. I think the Old Cars Weekly had that posted or somewhere, or Haggerty or somewhere I saw it. But yeah, 34 grand for one license plate. So you never know. It's you never know what people are going to want. You never know what people are going to get into a fight over at an auction. But there's only one number one, and somebody wanted it. They said that was the first one for Chicago. I can't remember who sold it. It wasn't, like Meekum or Baird or anybody. It was some sort of a collectibles auction company, but I don't remember who actually did sell it. So, Randy, everything's collectible if you hold it long enough. There's some truth to that. Well, not always everything. There's some stuff that still isn't worth much, but it was in 1904 was the year of that plate, and it was numero uno, number one. So Stan's here with us. Fun times are happening now. Well, I hope so, Stan. I hope we're all going to have a good time tonight. That's kind of the plan. Got everything worked up, ready to go. Auction boxes are refilled. Big Buick oil cans full of names. We're going to start yanking out here in a little bit. Randy's on with us. So, yep, I hope fun times are going to be happening now. That's the plan. Steve says you can hold your dollar bill and watch it decline. There could be some truth to that. It would probably depreciate. Badges. You guys are getting a little thirsty already, like that badge or that badge. Yep, they're here. They're ready to go. Jim's here. Jason's got a 15 Illinois. So, yeah, they were already using them at 10 years old by that point. They were running them. So, but like I said, we've got some fun stuff planned for tonight. Some cool stuff in the auctions. And we're going to give that Delco sign away. But anyway, yep, Halloween goodie bags right behind me. I was wondering how long I was going to see if somebody saw those. Brandon's getting ready to buy a 68 Galaxy 500 XL. That'd be a cool car. What's the best estimate on a 53 or 43 Arkansas half-ton truck plate? I don't know anything about Arkansas plates, Pete, and then condition makes a huge difference on that. Just like we're seeing on some of the ones we sell here, they're $20 and some of them are $100 just based on year and condition and things like that. So who knows? So anyway, yep, we got some goodie bags back there. I don't know what I figured we'd maybe auction one or two and then maybe draw for one of them. I don't know. It just hadn't really thought about it for sure of exactly what the game plan should be for those. Alex on with us on Facebook. That's right, number one. We talked about it, so I got a couple of them put together. So I don't know if we should maybe auction one or two and then probably just draw for one's what I'm thinking, but I don't know. Whatever you guys think. Lee from New York's here with us. You guys are all excited about these. I better keep sliding them up there. Auction's coming up. Better keep them up there pretty regularly. I should actually just wear these before the auction, so you guys have to keep going all the way till we get into the auction. But yep, those bags are all have stuff in them. There is a can. There is one of the small truck weight rating license tags. There's a toy. Oh, there's a service station road map, a branded service station road map, an older one. And what else is there? I don't even remember. Randy says auction a couple of them. I think that's what we'll do. We'll auction a couple, then we'll maybe just give one away. But there's a can, like a Hot Wheel. I don't know if it's like a Hot Wheel brand, but like a small toy, Hot Wheel size type toy. One of the truck tags, and the map. Oh, and an emblem. And there's an emblem in each one. So I don't even remember what's in what. I just wrapped them up. I made sure there was one of each piece in each pile. Then I just started wrapping them up and tied them up in the bags. So, Pete, anybody see the end of the NASCAR race today? Craziest ever seen since 91. No, I don't know what happened to the NASCAR race. I didn't watch any of it. I haven't watched NASCAR since, but for about 20 years, actually, kind of after the early 2000s. I was never a huge NASCAR fan, but after the early 2000s, I was pretty much completely out of it. That's kind of why I bought that Harvick car when I had the opportunity, because that was kind of the end of what I considered actual NASCAR. So when I had a chance to buy that Harvick car, and it was kind of in that window of what was kind of what I thought was the end of NASCAR, pre-Toyota, pre-Car Tomorrow, back when they at least had to somewhat resemble the production car. That's why I snagged that when I had the chance to buy it. So that's a badge. One's moving. No, they're not moving. At least I hope they're not moving. So let's see. Glad to hear that, Jason. That's great news. Number one says NASCAR tied when tobacco and liquor left. There's probably some truth to that too. Scott's on Facebook. So anyway, Auburn badge. That's what we've got going with the mystery bags. We'll get to those here shortly. But I thought I'd hang them up there with the Delco sign so everybody can see them. Nobody'd miss them. Gary on Facebook, it's Mischief Night. It could be Mischief Night. We'll see how things go. All right. 151,000 people in Martinsville today. That is a heck of a crowd. So they've still got some life left in it. They had 151,000 people there. That's crazy. But anyway, promos, badges, emblems, auctions, magazine, all kinds of fun stuff coming up tonight. Real quick, had a little bit of housekeeping. As always, autocorrect. Please check your autocorrect. Make sure that what you are going to send is what you typed. Make sure it didn't change something. If I can't understand your comment, not sure what it is, I'll have to skip over it and go on to the next one. If you're on the Nobody's Show page on Facebook, I cannot see those comments. So if you're on the Nobody's Show Facebook page, you'll need to be on the Nobody Else's Auto Facebook page because this is a shared video from that page, or the Nobody Show YouTube channel if you want to comment, participate in the auctions, anything like that. Just want to watch, hang out there, that's great, but I cannot see those comments. Trolls, as always, I ignore them. They're trying to get my attention. They don't get enough at home, so they're trying to screw up our chat. You guys do a great job of running them off. I ignore them. I appreciate your help on those. So, anyway, we'll get ready to get rolling here into the normal chat with the promo model. Looks like I'm all caught up for the time being on questions or comments. And let's get into tonight's promo. Tonight's promo is actually a car that I actually have always loved these cars. They had a ton of chrome. They are very, in the 50s, chrome and fins were a huge deal. This car had a heck of a lot of it. Dad's got one that we've had for years since I was a little kid. So I've always been a fan of the 1958 Buick. This promo model happens to be a Roadmaster 75 in kind of I'm going to call Iris Mist, which is what Pontiac called it in the mid-60s. But it's kind of a silvery purple color with a white top. This is in decent shape. It's got a little bit of warpage, as most of these promos do from the 50s. A little bit of wear on the chrome. The top fender ornaments are still intact, amazingly enough, on this thing, being a 58. Kind of surprised they are still there. Hector's digging it on Facebook. On the back, kind of the same thing. The chrome has some wear to it, but it's intact. Even these tall taillights are not chipped off or busted off. All original wheels and hubcaps. That's right, Jim. The chrome did weigh about as much as the car. This is a metal base friction promo. Tires need balance, but it is a friction. And like I said, Dad's got one of these. He's got a 58 Super 4-door hardtop, in kind of a silvery blue. So I grew up on 58 Buicks. Always been a fan of the 58 Buick. So this was a promo I was definitely excited about getting when I had the opportunity to snag it and add it to the collection. So neat piece. Like I said, it is a 58, so it's got some age to it, and you can definitely tell, like we've seen a lot of these. If you look close, things don't look quite square anymore because these things do warp. I think the whole body actually has a little bit of a warp to it coming up towards the front. But there again, it's not busted up. It still looks cool and still a nice piece. Still excited about it. Like I said, I like anything 58 Buick. So having a cool 58 promo was definitely right up my alley, and I was definitely glad to add it to the collection. Pete says he's going to have to start collecting them as well. Makes you wonder how they made a profit back then the way they built cars, yeah. They definitely did know how to make chrome in the 50s, that's for sure. The late 50s had a ton of chrome. Yeah, that's right, Bill. Try to find any chrome on a new car today. Not a lot of it out there. But obviously, and this being a promo model, a lot of it is not specified as much. That's right, Hector. It's Olds and Buick was the same platform, so Big Guy 45's here. But on the actual car, where this is actually a side molding, that was all stainless. This was all stainless back here. They just painted the whole thing in one color instead of having to try to differentiate that as being chrome. But in the real deal, I mean, these things, you think about all the chrome around the windows, all the chrome down the side, this big shield in the back, and then of course everything on the back and everything on the front. That is a lot of chrome. These cars definitely stood out. They were beautiful cars back in the day, and so that's why I've always liked them. I grew up on one with Dad having one, and I've always been a fan of them. So definitely glad to add this one to the collection, even though it's not perfect. So there we go with tonight's promo model. How about some badges? How about like these badges? Let's see. Number one says he bet heavy on the Bills tonight. So we'll see how number one's weekend's going to go. Between the day, everything is plastic and adult Legos for body shops. The Big Guy's 45. May have asked this question before. Are channels allowed to post a link or to promote themselves or other channels that they like? I'm not sure how that works on YouTube, Big Guy. I've never tried to, post any of my stuff onto a different channel, so I'm not sure about that. Jim agrees one of the best Buicks. Jason, the bright work is incredible. It's for sure. It's definitely true. So yeah, number one still must be trying for that new truck. So we'll see how the Bills do tonight and see how number one's weekend goes. In the meantime, we're gonna have some Hudson badge action before we get into some badges that we're gonna check out, talk about, and look at. Any orphan hood ornaments or badges? Not tonight. No hood ornaments tonight. I guess kind of I got one international in there, I think. I guess that's kind of an orphan. But anyway, on to tonight's emblems and badges. As always, we do a pre-war and a post-war. We kind of split it up. We talk about two different eras and two different windows in time as far as design and things like that. First badge we're going to check out tonight off of a Ford truck. This is a, 1935, 1936 era Ford truck badge. This would have gone on the side of the hood. Eloy made it tonight. That's right, Bill. For being 64 years old, it's not in bad shape. Any barn doors for a 53 to 56 Ford panel, Bob? I looked at one the other day. I don't know if the guy's going to sell it, but it's pretty rough. It did have these are the doors that open to the side, if those are the ones you're looking for. But I haven't bought it. I talked to the guy about it, but I haven't done anything with it yet. But anyway, this badge we're going to check out now, like I said, Ford truck. This was on the side of the hood for like a 35, 36 Ford truck with a V8. These are great badges. Bright chrome, cool piece. Has the iconic Ford script, the iconic V8 badge on them. These are beautiful pieces. Rusty's here with us. So yeah, if you want to give me a call on that, Bob, I'll get you on my notepad in case something happens with that other one. I don't know if it's going to or not, but that's the only one I've seen in forever. This is 5 3/4 across, side to side. That's right. We'll try to keep things reeled in a little bit from last week, Brandon. Although that is still here on the desk. We can still blind you with this one from last week. I haven't put it back away yet. So we're about 5 3/4 across here. How tall is this thing? 4 5/8. So a little over 4.5, 5 3/4. Big enough to stand out, not so big where it's gaudy. Nice bright shine. These were a flat mounted on the side of the hood with studs and little tiny nuts is what bolted them on. It's kind of weird though. They actually, you can see the heads of the rivets right through the front of them. They didn't even really try to hide them, but the studs and the hardware are still there. So Kevin says, hit the like button. Appreciate that. It does kind of look like a dagger. But these are super cool. They are a statement piece. Like I said, they were on each side of the hood. Told you it had a V8 in it, the iconic Ford logo. Considering this thing is, over 80 years old, looks pretty darn good. I actually come up with a box, not a bunch of stuff, but a few pieces for this era Ford truck found in a garage here this week. So kind of a cool piece. Definitely stands out and very pretty. The script and the chrome and everything, really sharp looking piece. So there is a pre-war badge. And definitely one of my personal favorites. It is a great piece. Jason's up to 450 license plates in his collection. So that's a slug of them. So let's jump forward a few decades into the 50s. As you guys are well aware of, we've been checking out a lot of cool Studebaker stuff. Because I bought 3 or 4 boxes. Actually, about like 5 or 6 boxes, but 3 or 4 of them were Studebaker parts. There was a box of Ford parts, a box of miscellaneous parts that had some Chevy stuff and some other stuff in it. But there were some super, super cool Studebaker stuff. And yes, believe it or not, we're still not done. Even with some of the cool stuff that we've checked out, like this from last week, that we could like send signals to an airplane with the reflection off of it. There are still more cool pieces in there. And that's what we're going to check out tonight. This one is 50, I think it's 56, 57 era. They actually made these cars from 55 to 58 in Studebaker for the second run. They made them very early in the pre-war years. They made a second run of the President in 1955 through 1958. When I looked at some pictures, the emblem that we're going to check out right now, I think is like 56, 57. However, I think it is also Newell stock, which is super cool. It is a gold President emblem for a Studebaker. And it's awesome. I'm guessing it's Newell stock because it looks way too good to not be. The studs don't have any scratches on them. The back is clean. So, pretty cool piece. And it has a little bit of size to it. It's 10 3/4, 10 and almost 11 inches long. So it's got a little bit of size to it. But a very pretty piece. These were side emblems for, I think, 56, 57. Jason is trying to buy this one, but I don't think I'm going to keep this one. 1.125 tall, so a little over an inch tall, almost 11 inches long. But this thing is beautiful. I mean, I hope you guys can see the reflection and the quality and the color and everything on this. Everybody's excited about it. But I don't know what I'm going to do with these. There actually is a pair of these, but since they're Newell stock, I mean, I don't know what to do with them. Keep them as a set or what I'm going to do. But it's so cool. And like I said, they didn't make them for a real long time. So, Jim, do I have any Studebaker promos? Yeah, I've got a bullet nose we checked out here a few weeks back. I don't have a lot of Studebaker promos, but I do have a bullet nose. And I've actually got an aluminum, like 47 or 48 Studebaker promo as well. We need to dig that one out one of these days. Because they were, I think that's where AMT started, all metal toys. And there was the very first Studebaker promos in the late 40s were metal, and I've got one of those as well. So Alex digging it. Let's see. David W., that is Newell stock. The repops have straight pins. Oh, great. Thanks. Appreciate the info there. So that's kind of what I was thinking. Somebody probably does need a set, but yeah, these are not a perfectly straight pin. So they're kind of a rectangle shaped pin almost. It does still have the part number on the back. So yep. And there is a pair. So they are cool, but great pieces and super neat President emblems for that era of Studebaker. Like I said, we've still got more cool Studebaker stuff coming out of those boxes. But this thing, just with that gold, I hope you guys can see that reflection of that gold. Those things are just gorgeous. So that's what we've got for tonight. Bill Disco, I'd say nice emblems tonight, but every Sunday has great emblems. So, well, good. That means I'm doing a good job of trying to find cool stuff to check out. So there we have it tonight with the 3536 Ford truck V8 badge, as well as the 5657 era Studebaker President badge. So hope you guys like those tonight and enjoyed checking them out. Thought of something else tonight we hadn't checked out in a while. Who remembers these? I was getting ready to get set up for tonight and have my coaster laying here. I was like, oh, I've got to show off the coaster again. Anybody remember these when we had these? Same guy that did these for us a while back. TV signs and designs. Bill, you got to put it over the door to your office. Yeah, I don't think I need to put that over the door of the office. So there's the coaster that I'm using that you guys every night when we're on. So, but my friend Tom Bohr does these, and he's done some cool stuff for us before. He did a batch of stuff. We gave away some of those a while back, but he does some of this cool stuff for me. So I want to give a shout out to him as well. Does our race week road weeker plaques and things like that. So he does a lot of cool things for us. Always a big help. That's a badge. So anyway, should we do some auction time? Sell some stuff, sell some grab bags, sell some stuff out of here. Yes, these are actually on a tile. These are just basically like a white tile. What was it? These like 4x4 or something, or yeah, 4.25 inch white tile. And then he does I don't know if it's a laser engraving that he does, and then puts the the cork board on the back with his name and stuff. But yeah, he does these on a tile. He's done race week ones for us. Has done SRCA ones for out at the track. Yeah, it's just on a tile, and whatever it is, it burns it in there, and it's on there. I mean, it ain't coming off. You'd have to grind it off or sand it off. It's actually burned in there. So he does some neat stuff. Bill says makes him thirsty. Well, we better give you one of those then. So who's ready for some auctions? Anybody ready to check out some cool stuff? Maybe add a few pieces to your collection and see what we've got for tonight. Like I said, we've got some mystery bags. I've got piles of stuff stacked up down here. Don't even know where to start. But anyway, we'll start anyhow. Alec likes the tile. Yeah, and if you guys want, if anybody wants some of these, he can do them. We can get more of them burnt. They're not cheap. They're like $8 a piece. Plus shipping, or I can put them in with your auction box. If anybody wants some of this stuff, you can get with me and I can have Tom make some for us. But he does a nice job. Pete is ready for auctions. All right. Well, let's get ready to get started on them then. We will, as always, real quick, we'll run through the rules. Anybody can bid, jump in, have a good time. I tell you can send me a check, money order. Some people send cash, Western Union, or PayPal friends and family. I'll accept any of those forms of payment. If you've got a question, if you're new to us, not sure what's going on, and you want to play along and you want to bid, go ahead. And if you're not sure how to get me payment to me, call me tomorrow. We'll figure it out. Not a problem. No big deal whatsoever. If you want to wait a week or two, especially if you're sending a check or money order, some of you guys that are doing checks or money orders are waiting 2 weeks, perfectly fine. Just let me know. Just let me know that you're doing that. So as I'm keeping my record straight on my notepad, I know what's going on. Hector, it's not Farrah, actually. It's Heather Thomas, Hector. Not Farrah up there. It's Heather Thomas for us. So, but anyway, yeah, they are nice coasters, Alec. That's for sure. So yeah, if you want to wait, just let me know. Non-US bidders, if you want to play along, that's fine. You just have to figure out a way to get me paid because a wire transfer costs $30 or $40 now. And then you'll have extra shipping, obviously, out of the US. But if you want to do that and want to wait, a couple weeks and get a pile built up, we can do that as well. I have no problem with that. If you've got any questions at any point in time, you can always give me a call. Just give me a shout in the morning. If you buy something, you're not sure what to do next, no big deal. just let me know. Just make sure when you do send payment, if you use PayPal, make sure your address is on there, and make sure you tell me if it's for auction items, raffle items, T-shirts, so I know how to break it down as you know, and things like that. So Kenny's digging the coaster. So yeah, if anybody wants any of these, just let me know. If you want, like I said, I think they're like $8 a piece. And if, as long as we can ship them with your auction items and stuff, it's no big deal. But then of course it's like $5 to ship them if you wanted me to just ship you just one of these. So, but if anybody does want one, you know, you can add it to your payment, and then I'll have Tom do a run of them for us for everybody that wants one. So David W. got my Cali plate, license plate mounted on a San Bruno plate frame, and colors even match. Perfect. So anyway, like I said, if you've got any questions about auctions, just let me know. Still don't have an address from Buchanan on some plates they bought. So if you see it, let me know. They left me a message and I couldn't get back a hold of them. So if you're on Buchanan, give me a call this week. If not, I'm just going to have to refund that one because I've been waiting over a month trying to get an address on that. The only other stuff I think I've got hanging, need an address from Highlander. I'm sure he's just waiting on for his next payment. John Armstrong has a couple things we need to get caught up on. And I think about everybody else, I know where we're at. There's a few things that are getting old that we're probably just going to resell from about a month ago. So I'll get that stuff worked back into the shuffle again. Jason wants a coaster. Okay, yeah, if you guys want a coaster, just add $8 to your payment or whatever, and put on there you want a coaster, and I'll see when Tom can get another batch of them run for me. So, T-shirt with Gray Kitty. We've got to catch Gray Kitty again. I saw her again today, but I couldn't get within 50 feet of her. I mean, she is spooked and she's running. She's living down the street at an impound lot. So we're trying to get Gray Kitty caught again. Like I said, she was a completely wild stray when I basically trapped her in the building like 3 years ago. One night when it was supposed to be like 15 degrees, she came in to eat. I left the door open. She came in to get food, and then I closed the door behind her, and then that's how we trapped her in. And it was months before we could get close to her, but she did finally calm down. But whatever spooked her is she's down there. She don't want to be anywhere near anybody. So we'll see if we can catch her again. Tim's here. Yes, the Delco sign is going tonight. Tim, we are giving it away. That's right, Bill. It is weird that she's to be that scared. I mean, for obviously you guys seen her in here getting right in the middle of everybody's way. And now she is super spooked. So Auburn badge. So anyway, anybody else has any other questions about the auction? Go ahead and throw them up there. Or if you just want to play along and you want to call me tomorrow, then and figure out the rest of it, no problem there whatsoever either. So anyway, let's go ahead and get rolling. Brandon's got a spooky ghost up there. With auction time. Yeah, Randy says she's mad. She wanted computer time. So why don't we just start off with a grab bag? Your choice, 1, 2, or 3. They all, like I said, they all have a can in them, and they are all cans we've sold before. So you've seen them all. There's no like super rare $100 can in there or anything. They're more the average cans like we've, Alec, if you want just one coaster, it's $8 plus $5 for shipping, or, $8 a piece, however many you want. Unless if you've got auction stuff, then I can add it into your auction box as far as shipping. It'll probably, I doubt we get them right away. It'll probably be a couple of weeks. So, if you want to just say, I want 1 or 2 coasters or whatever, I'll go ahead and get those ordered. And then when I get them in, if you've got auction items that week, then I'll throw it in that box. And if you don't have auction items for a couple weeks, we need to ship them. We'll figure it out from there. So, all right, auction grab bags. Randy's at 10. Jess is at 18. We're going to give you a choice, 1, 2, or 3. Like I said, there is a can in each one, and they are cans we've seen before. They're nice. They're older cans. One of them's cardboard, but it's still an older cardboard can. The other 2 are metal cans. There's 1 toy in them, Hot Wheel size toy. There's 1 emblem, 1 small license plate, and 1 road map for an actual service station branded road map. So your choice, 1, 2, or 3. As always, when we do the auctions, we put them on a timer. on my phone. When I hit start, we go 2 minutes, and I will tell you when a minute has passed. I'll tell you when a minute 30 has passed. And when I tell you a minute 30 has passed, depending on what your delay time is, it's time to be thinking about your max bid. Everybody's typically fighting a delay on here, depending on whether you're on a phone, a PC, a tablet, all that, plus your server, that all affects your delay time. So we know we've got that delay. Jason at 25, let's put it on the timer. Let's kick this thing off. Your choice, bag 1, 2, or 3. Jess is back at 30. This is easy for my notes. I just got to write 1, 2, or 3. It's real simple. But I guess I can't write it until you choose. So we're going to let this thing tick along. Jess is at 30. We're going to give you another Hudson badge. Reno at 35. And an Auburn badge. I wonder if we can make these things dance. Whoa, that'd make you dizzy, wouldn't it? Reno at 35 on a grab bag. We are rolling on this thing. The timer is going. Alec at 32. We've already got Reno at 35. That's right, Bill. Cats can be like that. She is freaked out. I mean, she is freaked out. Alec at 45. Shayla went down there and just sat down there by the fence last night and called her for like 10 minutes. And 1 minute has passed, and she wouldn't even peek out. Shayla never even saw her. Just sat down there and tried to call her, and she wouldn't. Reno at 50. As we're ticking along, just about up to that minute 20 mark. Minute 20 has now passed. Reno at 50. Once we hit that minute 30, be thinking about your max bid. I know everybody's got to figure out their delays tonight. This is a good way to do it. As we hit the 1 minute and 30 second part, Reno at 50. $20 seconds left. 15. 10. Alec at 55. And that does it. Whew, Alec slid that in at like 158. Alec at 55. Alec, 1, 2, or 3. Lori, how to get a couple of shirts and what's your number? If you click on this video after we get done, Lori, all my information is in the description part of this video. My phone number's in there. The t-shirt information is in there. So, yeah, all that stuff is in the description part for this video. Phone number is 620-786-4428 if you do want to write it down. Or like I said, click on the description after we're done. It's all in there. Alex says number 2. Alec wants number 2. All right. All right. What's next? What's next? We got emblems. We got license plates. We got hubcaps. We got a toy. We got all kinds of super cool stuff tonight. How about an emblem? Yeah, how about like that? What about that? That's a duplicate. I got one on my wall right over there. So I will sell this one if anybody's interested. Let's look at it one more time real quick. Obviously, we know it's nice, bright, and shiny. We know it's 35, 36 era Ford truck. Once bill disc at 45. 5 3/4 across the front. 5 3/4. Brandon at 50. Rusty at 50. I had Brandon first. 5 3/4. 4 5/8 high on the Ford V8 badge. 35, 36 era truck. Brandon at 50 is my high bidder. Stud mount on the back. It is pretty flat, so you can do some cool stuff with it. Rusty at 55. Let's go ahead and kick this thing off on the timer, and I will make my notes. Rusty at 55. David W. came in at 55 also, but I already had Rusty at that. Jason says, like and share. Perfect. Appreciate that. Throw some shares out there. Let your friends know we're on. We're having a lot of fun, especially when we get into auction time. Plus, we're going to start with one of the magazines out of the viewer box from a couple of weeks ago. So we still got some more cool stuff coming up tonight. Plus, we're going to give away that Delco sign. Yep, it is cool, Jess. That's for sure. Rusty at 55. And we're just about to that 1 minute mark. So we are at the halfway point through this one on the Ford V8 badge. Rusty at 55. Haven't heard anything out of Norma other than she's waiting to have surgery and wants to be back. So minute 20 is past, coming up on that minute 30 mark. When we hit that minute 30 mark, please remember, we get your max bid out there depending on what your delay is, because we are at a minute 30 right now, which means by the time you see it, it's probably going to be just about done. Bill says, do grab bags with parts off the cars in the yard. 20 seconds left. Rusty at 55. 15. Bill Disc at 66. 10 seconds left. Kenny at 68, and that does it. Holy cow, that was like 159 and change. Kenny at 68. That was tight. Another 2 seconds, Kenny, and that wouldn't have counted. Yeah, that was a good shot, Bill. I thought you had it. I mean, I really was like 156, 157, 158. Boom. And it's like it hit. It's like, whoo. That was one of those he almost cut too close. The Redneck Prepper's on with us. The Jewish Redneck Prepper been hanging out with us on here a little bit too. Glad to see you made it back tonight. And what else do we want to do? Where do we want to go next? We just did an emblem. We got license plates. We got all kinds of stuff. How about a hubcap? We haven't done a hubcap yet tonight. We just will do a hubcap. Kind of mix a few things up a little bit, get a kind of things going. I'm not sure where Big Job is at all, actually. Haven't seen or heard anything out of him tonight. So, hubcaps. Who's ready for hubcaps? I know we do a lot of these little hubcaps. They're cool. They're neat. They're great wall hangers. And it's cool doing some of the odd stuff, some of the stuff that's kind of different. That's kind of what we've got. I think this is moving up a little bit in years. That's right, Randy. Big Job did miss out on that one. But it's international. International stuff is so cool. International stuff was basically almost shunned for decades. I mean, internationals were, their tractors, their trucks, everything. That's right. Zach isn't here either. The tractors, the trucks, everything was utilitarian, workhorse. That's all International was known for. Nobody ever kept any of them. They used them until they were running to the ground. And so that's why the International stuff, I think, is pretty cool. I think this cap is early 60s. It is stainless. David doesn't run out of wall space. Jason's at 30. He ain't even seen the cap yet. So just must be excited about International. I hope you don't have this one, Jason. But let's go ahead and throw it up there. International, nice shiny stainless cap, not chrome. Does have some dings and dents. I mean, this thing was used, it was abused, but International all the way around. All right, Jason, we're good. Jason's kicking us off at 30, so fortunately he doesn't have one. But it is a cool cap. It's a lot of lettering stamped on there to get International on there twice. Back is nice and clean. David W. says 70s, okay? Just cool with all that on there. Reno's at 40. Let me give you a dimension on this thing, and then we're going to get it on the timer. It is 10 and 3, almost 10 and 3/4. Almost 10 and 3/4 across the back of this one. Reno at 40. Let's go go ahead and get this thing live and going. Reno at 40 on the international cap. Like I said, this international stuff, you just don't see it. It was used, abused, beat up. Plus, anything that was fancy on an international, chrome, trim, things like that, they just didn't have it. Stainless caps are not a necessity for an international. Painted white was fine for most internationals. Perfect, Lori. Awesome. Just give me a shout. And like I said, click on the description. And my phone number is in the description of about all my videos on YouTube. So got Reno at 40. And we are live on the timer on the international cap. Alec at 45. As we're coming up on the 1 minute mark. Alec at 45. Reno at 50. 1 minute has now passed. Jason's looking a little thirsty. Better give him one of those. Reno at 50 on the cool ISG cap. Better write this down. I got to talking about internationals and forgot to write it down. Minute 20 has now passed. When we get to that minute 30 mark, be thinking about those maximum bids. And a minute 30 has now passed. Alec at 65. I've got Alec at 65 on Facebook. 15 seconds left to go. Alec at 65. 10 seconds. Reno at 68. Bill Disc at 69. And that does it. Bill Disc at 69. That got a little interesting right there at the end. And then Reno came back at 70, but we were too late. Brian was at 70. It was too late. So Bill at 69. Let's see. David W., 17-letter S spreader. I guess this 17 letters. No, not quite 17 letters on this. So we'll just skip over that. Corn binder, that's for sure. But a cool cap. And like I said, most of this international stuff just didn't survive, especially shiny stuff that said international. Auburn badge. How about a license plate? We haven't done a license plate yet tonight. I always kind of like to get a good mix in right out of the gate so everybody kind of has a sample of what's going on and what we got cooking. That's right, David. 13. That's it. 13-letter S spreader. That's exactly what they were. Perfect, Bill. Thanks. Another Kansas plate. And I don't think we've done one of this year before. We're getting into the 50s, but we're familiar with the way they show the cutout in the corner of the license plate for the state. In 1954, they actually did cut it out. So the 54 plate, this corner of the state where the river, I think it's the Missouri River, cuts the corner of Kansas off, they actually cut this out of the plate. This is a CD County 4937, white background, black letters. It does say the Wheat State on it. It is all embossed. Of course, everything back then was embossed. Has a couple of extra holes in it, right here and right here, I believe. I don't think either one of these were original holes. But on the 1954 Kansas CD plate with the state corner cutout, perfect Highlander, awesome. So this is more of a standard sized plate, 12 by 6, or just almost 6, like 5 7/8 by about 12. So kind of the standard type plate size that we're used to. It's got some surface rust on it, but still presents very well. So anyway, on the 54 Kansas plate with the corner cutout CD4937, let's go ahead and kick this thing off on the timer, and we'll get rolling. So anyway, on the 1954 Kansas plate, nobody's jumping in yet. Somebody might sneak this one out of here and steal it. Jess is at 15. Kenny's at 25. It is pretty flat, too. It's been a little bit, but not too bad. Well, there it went. I just kind of went and kicked it off with nobody bids, and now there's all kinds of bids. I got Jess at 35 is the high bidder as of right now on the 54 Kansas plate. As we're coming up on the 1 minute mark on this plate. 1 minute has now passed. We're on the back side of this one. I'll let you know when we get to that minute 30 point, so you can be thinking about your max bids. I've got Jess at 35. And I'll try to think about what we want to do next. Coming up on that minute 30 mark. A minute 30 has now passed. Be thinking about those max bids. I've got Alec at 37 on Facebook. Alec at 37. 20 seconds left to go. 15. Thanks, Eloy. And 10. Alec at 37. And that does it. Alec at 37. That's right, Jason. The 51, I think, 51, and then they use the little tag, the little number changer for 52 and 53, then 54 they were cut. So, yeah, just those first few years, the 50s, they did that. So. We got any ag guys on with us tonight? I got a cool ag piece, but I don't know if we got any ag guys on to do this one. But I got a cool John Deere piece that if we got any of our ag guys with us tonight. Jason says sure. So. Rico found one of the first plastic oil cans by Quaker State the other day, marked 81. Speaking of that, Rico, actually, you said plastic cans. That reminded me of something I've had in the box for like about a month that we need to sell. So what the heck? Let's just do it. Since you reminded me of that, let's just do that. I got to wipe it down. It's been in the box so long. It's gotten dusty again. But that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up because I keep forgetting that this is in there and it's cool. And I want to show it to everybody. And I want somebody else to own it because I've got one. And it's a neat piece. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the backup on that. This is a Gulf plastic oil can. Yep. I don't know if anybody's interested in it or not, but It's for sale. It is different. I mean, they didn't make this thing is actual plastic. It does have a barcode on it, so it's probably mid 80s. Has the golf ball there. Has the golf ball there. 1040 across the top. Ooh, it's got a leak on the top or something. It does have a little teeny tiny hole on the top. Well, I guess I can drain it from there. Randy's going to kick us off at 10. Lee says 10. Tweety Lee says 25. Golf Pride Super Premium 10W40. It's weird because this thing is plastic with a metal top, but it's an actual quart round. Looks just like an oil can. So let's get this thing on the timer. Tweedly D at 25. Pete has one in his collection because he thought the same thing. He thought it was cool that it's a round plastic can. Jason didn't even know they existed. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Rico, because this thing has been in the box for a couple months. I've got some other cans in there that I need to. They keep getting stuff thrown on top of them every week as I refill, and then I don't get back down to that lower level. So that was thanks for bringing that up. Let's. I've got Tweedly D at 25 on the Golf plastic quart. So Tweedly D at 20. A lot of you guys didn't know about them. There's not a lot of them out there. They're not very common. So, but somebody's going to add one to their collection because I've got another one. Rico's at 30. David W. was at 30 as well, but already had Rigo. Brian's never seen one. As we're coming up on the minute mark, 1 minute has now passed on the Golf plastic quart round can. I don't know what the big yellow, obviously it's G for golf, but I've never seen the big yellow either. I mean, golf's just always been the orange ball. I've got a bunch of people at 30. Alec at 30 as well, but I had Rico first at 30. As we're about to the minute 30 mark, Alec at 35. A minute 30 has now passed. Be thinking about those max bids. Alec at 35. 20 seconds left to go. Lee at 37. Lee at 37 is still my high bidder. Reno at 47. And that does it. Reno at 47. Reno slid that one in just about perfect. Right there between that 155 and 2 minute mark. Reno at 47. Kind of a neat piece. So Dennis said they got golf in Jersey, and so he remembers seeing a lot of them. So could have been more of a regional thing as well, but neat pieces, that's for sure. And Tweedly D come in at 48. We're just a little bit too late. That's right, Eloy. Everybody's all over it tonight. Appreciate that. How about a small Chevy badge bundle? A small Chevy badge bundle, just kind of a small handful. Starting off with one of the plastic ones. I always like to throw one of these into the Chevy badge bundle. This is a really nice one. Just a nice blue plastic bow tie. Flat, double-sided tape mount. I mean, you can stick these things anywhere. You can even put these on a car as kind of a custom touch, and it's still going to look correct. This one is 4 3/8 by 1.5 inches. So 4 3/8 on this one. The next emblem, how about the legendary and iconic Vega? Yep, we've got a Vega badge. Vega by Chevrolet. This is a stud mount, metal badge, flat. It had barrel nuts originally, just snapped in. It is a pop metal badge, chrome plated, in pretty good shape. It's not all pitted up or nasty or anything. And it is about 4 inches by about 1 inch. About 4 inches by about 1 inch tall on the Vega badge. And one more Chevrolet badge, and this is also a smaller one. Like I said, this is kind of a badge handful bundle. On a Monte Carlo, this is also a metal one. This is late 70s. Alex starting us off at 10. It is also 4 inches by about an inch, so very comparable in size to the Vega badge. And they are both metal. The Monte Carlo is also a flat badge with studs. Even got the original nuts on it still. All 3 Chevy badges, 1 batch. Alex starting us off at 10. Let's get the timer going on these right now. Johnny Z at 20. Kenny at 22. X-rays here. A little late, but you made it. We're right in the middle of the auction, so you're perfect timing. Kenny at 22 as of right now. Working our way towards the 1 minute mark on the Chevrolet badge bundle. Here we go, coming up on the 1 minute. 1 minute has now passed. Outcast Projects made it tonight. Glad you're here. That's a newer bow tie. It's plastic, Rico. It's just a nice, clean blue badge that you can kind of stick about anywhere. So it's newer, but I don't know what year. Kenny at 22. And we are at the minute 30 mark. 1 minute, 30 seconds has now passed. Be thinking about your max bids. I've got Kenny at 22. That's right, bud. So many of those 80s Monte Carlos got turned into dirt cars. That's for sure. Kenny at 22. 20 seconds left to go. Are we going to make it that easy on Kenny? 15 seconds left. 10. Johnny Z at 31. And that does it. Jason came in there at 23, but I had Johnny Z at 31. And Alec was at 20. Alec came in at 27. And Jason at 23. Alec at 27. And Johnny Z at 31. All within the last few seconds there. So get those taped back together so I remember what goes with what. I don't want to short somebody on an emblem. So Johnny Z's got to have the Vega. Yep. All right. I told everybody we had a cool ag can. Let's go ahead and do that. You guys want to check out some ag stuff? This is kind of different. It's a cardboard can, but it is early. Genuine John Deere lubricating powdered graphite. It is a square can. It has a kind of a pop top on top of it. Everybody was after the Vega. It is about 4 5/8 tall. And it is 3 5/8 square. Only genuine John Deere parts, fit and wear like originals. Tweedledee is starting us off at 20. Manufactured for the John Deere company. Contents 1 pound. It is not full. It's got a little bit of stuff in it, but it is nowhere near full. It has the same thing on each side. It has this on here and the same thing over here. And then it has this on the other 2 sides. The bottom is just plain metal. Jason's on a fridge run. But kind of a neat piece. So, like I said, for our ag friends tonight, we've got this cool John Deere can. Tweedledee at 20. Alec was after the Monte Carlo. So, anyway, let's go ahead and kick it off. Tweedledee at 20 on the John Deere can. Dennis at 22. Nothing graphites like a deer. That's true. Dennis at 22. It is a cool piece. And like I said, it's not huge. It's a little bit smaller than a quart. It's a great display can. And the fact that it's a cardboard can means they're probably kind of rare. Coming up on the 1 minute mark, I've got Dennis at 22. And 1 minute has now passed. So we're on the backside of this thing. Be thinking about your max bid when we hit that minute 30 point. It does have a little bit of wear and tear on it. I mean, I don't know how old this thing is, but it's got some age to it. A minute 20 has now passed, just about to that minute 30 mark. Dennis at 22. Lee at 26 as we get to the minute 30. 1 minute, 30 seconds has now passed. Be thinking about your max bid at this point. Lee at 26. 20 seconds left. Lee at 26. Smoking deal for that can at 26, that's for sure. Tweely D at 35. 10 seconds left to go. Lee at 40. And that does it. Reno tried to sneak that one out, but Lee had a strong enough bid to hold it. Lee at 40 on the John Deere can. Cool piece. Let's do another little badge. It's kind of a cool piece. This is a small badge. It's not rare because they all had them, but they mounted under the hood. So you knew what happened when you mounted a painted badge under the hood. They didn't last very long. So these are common. This is a Dodge piece. Every Dodge in this era had them, but being under the hood, mounted the firewall, and being painted, they didn't survive. This one isn't perfect, but it is pretty neat. This mounted on the firewall in the early 50s on a Dodge. Dodge, division of Chrysler Corporation, Detroit, Michigan, made in the USA. Kind of a neat piece. It is, dimension-wise, it is 4 1/8 by about 1.5 inches. Randy's at 15, so a little over 4 by about 1.5 inches. It is an aluminum tag. They mounted to the firewall. Like I said, this isn't perfect. It's got some scratches, things like that, but this thing is 70 years old, and it mounted under the hood, and it survived in this point. What year, says Kenny? These were early 50s. I think even some of the late 40s used them. This one came off of a 53, 54-ish era. So they're a neat piece. Like I said, most of them have them, but most of them you can't read them, or they're, you can just make out a little bit of color. So ones you can still read are pretty cool. Let's see. Lots of bids on this thing already. Brandon at 20 is the high bidder. Jess has a 46. Plymouth has one similar because Plymouth did use them as well. Brandon at 20 is the high bidder as of right now as we kick it on the timer, and we are live on this one on the cool little Dodge badge. Kenny at 22. Jason says he's got one on his 52 Plymouth. Yeah, that late 40s, early 50s Mopars had them. Just a lot of them just didn't survive. They were mounted under the hood and they were painted with thin paint. So, like I said, they're not super rare. They're not super expensive. But some of this is some of the cool stuff we're talking about that you don't have to break the bank to add to your collection. So, Kenny at 22. As we run up on the 1 minute mark on the little badge. 1 minute has now passed on the little Dodge Firewall badge. Alec at 24. Minute 20 has now passed. Coming up on that minute 30 mark. When I tell you we're at the minute 30 mark, please be thinking about your max bid, because that means by the time you see it, it's just about done. And that's where we are at. The minute 30 mark has now passed. I've got Alec at 24 on Facebook. With 20 seconds left. Alec at 24. 10. Randy at 25. And that does it. Randy at 25 on the little Dodge badge. Like I said, they're neat. It's just neat when you find them when they're still legible. That's what's cool about those. So, how about another plate? Been a few minutes since we did a plate. We've got some cool plates to do yet tonight. Some more emblems. We got a lot of cool stuff. So, also got Auburn badges. This plate has a little bit of surface rust. It does show a little bit of age, but that's because it's 83 years old. So when you're 83 years old, you're probably going to show a little weathering and a little age. On this 1939 Kansas plate, I believe this is supposed to be kind of a tan or a beige with black lettering, 39 KAN, and then the number is all that is on this one. This does have quite a few holes in it, so I'm wondering if some of these holes were added. I'm not sure if these are all factory holes. They actually all look like pretty clean holes, but I wouldn't think that there would be quite that many of them. This is a fairly close to a standard size plate. It is 12.5, so it's a little bit longer by about 5 3/4. So this one is a little over 12 inches. It is pretty flat. It's not bent up or twisted up too bad. Back of it doesn't look too bad. It's still got pretty good coloring on the back. And you can see the embossing on the stamping on the 39 Kansas plate. Brandon at 10 is kicking us off on this one. Like I said, other than the few extra holes, this is just some light surface rust. It is not rusted out anywhere, just has affected the coloring some on the 1939 Kansas plate. Brandon at 10 has us started. We are on the timer on the 39 Kansas plate. I'll get my notes made and keep an eye out for your bids. Kenny at 20. Trying to make sure I look at numbers and I got to look at the time on Facebook. It gives me the time when they were posted. So I got to make sure Alec doesn't have a current bid, make sure it's an old bid out there. So yeah, I thought about that, Brian, after I held this up, seeing all the extra holes in it. I thought, well, shoot, I should have looked at the other one, but I didn't realize that until I just grabbed it right now. So, but we're coming up on the 1 minute mark. I've got Kenny at 20 on the 39 plate. And 1 minute has now passed. I've got Kenny at 20. Cool plate, over 80 years old. Still doesn't look too bad for its age. Not perfect, but considering its age, doesn't look bad. J.O. is Johnson County, is what that is, up by Kansas City, Jason. Kenny at 20. A minute 20 has now passed. Be thinking about your maximum bid because we are right now at that 1 minute and 30-second point, which means by the time you see this, we'll be just about done. Is Kenny going to walk out of here with this thing for $20? That's a smoking plate for $20. 20 seconds left. Brandon at 21. 15. Tweedledee at 35 with 10 seconds left to go. 5. Tweedledee at 35 is my high bidder. Jason at 36. And that does it. Jason at 36. David W. was 38, but it was just 2 seconds too late. Jason at 36 on that plate. Sorry, Brandon. Brandon's got the teary-eyed out, so. Oh, that Alec popped up over at 25 on that one, too. But Jason had everybody covered with 36 on that one, so. Hood's badge. How about another cap? We haven't done a cap in a while. Jess will recognize this one. It's a cool little Plymouth with the ship on it. I guess I should have warned you to get sunglasses out. I didn't think about it until I popped that thing up and the lights hit it. This is, I think, a late 40s, probably similar to what Jess's Plymouth would have on it. Like I said, does it have the Plymouth lettering across it? Has the ship sails on it. Jess is excited. It has a ring around it. I think this would have been red. The ship would have been red as well as the ring around it. Obviously, it's faded off on this one. Typical dings and dents, but obviously, if you can't tell, it's still pretty bright. Backside's got surface rust, but it's not all smashed or wiped out. Let's see. Brandon was at 25. X-Ray is at 27. So I've got X-Ray at 27. We're not going to auction hood ornaments tonight, Alec, but we are going to talk about hood ornaments tonight. So, Brandon at 30. This is about 9 inches outside diameter on the back of this one is about 9 inches. Let's see. Brandon at 30 is my high bidder. So, no, you'll definitely want to stay tuned for the hood ornament news later tonight, Alec. But I don't have any of them in the auction boxes tonight. So, and let's kick this thing off. Brandon at 30, as of right now, is my high bidder on the Plymouth cap. Tony's on. Running late, been working on his 38 wheelies. Well, that's a good reason that's a good excuse to be running late, Tony. Brandon at 30 is my high bidder. Sometimes on some of these, I like to repaint the red areas or the colored areas. Really makes them pop, especially when you got chrome that is still this bright. As we come up on the 1 minute mark on this one, Brandon at 30. Kenny at 32 as we hit that 1 minute mark. Kenny at 32. Coming up almost to the minute 20 point. So there's the minute 20. Remember when I tell you the minute 30 has passed, that means we're probably about done depending on your particular delay. 1 minute, 30 seconds has now passed. I've got Kenny at 32. Brandon at 33. 20 seconds left. Brandon at 33 with coming down to the wire on this one. 10 seconds left to go. Brandon at 33. Kenny at 37. And that does it. Kenny at 37. Tweely D tried to sneak in there, but Kenny had him covered. Tweely D came back, but it was too late. Brandon tried to come back. It was too late. Kenny at 37. Let's do another cool little badge. This is an early badge. Model A era Ford. I think Model A era, but it's not the enamel one. They actually made a stainless badge they used back in the 20s and the early 30s as well. That's what this one is. These are cool pieces as well. Basically about the same size as what you would see on the enamel Model A badges. But this one is, and then Alec came in at 37 as well on Facebook after the fact too. So there were, on the end of that hubcap, there were 5 bids and from $35 to $38. And Kenny just happened to be the one that hit it at 158. So, but on this little Ford badge, this thing is 2 7/8 by 1 3/8 inches. So 2 7/8, 1 3/8. Like I said, this is early 30s, maybe late 20s. I've seen these on Model A that didn't have the blue enameled ones. Not sure why. Don't know what the difference was. This is stainless, has a decent shine to it. It is flat. This would have had a little button on the back similar to the enamel badges we looked at where they were press fitted onto the grill shell. I don't know if the blue was ever painted or not, or if it was just strictly left as a shiny stainless type badge. So David W. said he's got a bigger delay tonight. I'm getting him 10 seconds after he sees him. Yeah, could be. I'm not really sure. Like I said, that's why when I tell you when that minute 30 mark is done, I know when I tell you a minute 30 is gone, we've got, for the most part, enough time for everybody. So Kenny's kicking us off on this one at 30. We'll kick it on the timer. Kenny at 30. I think, like I said, I think this is Model A era. I don't know why some of them use this, but I've seen these on Model A's. It's the same size. It's the same type of mount as the enamel ones, just a little bit different version of it. Alec at 15, but I've already got Kenny at 30 on YouTube. So let me get my notes caught up. And I don't know if some of these, had like a painted grill shell that maybe they use this on. I don't know. I don't know Model A's that well. I don't know much about them. I've only got one in the yard. I've got some pieces of some, but I've only got one intact car at all in the yard on a Model A. So don't do a lot with them. Definitely not an expert on them, and just kind of learn as I go on them. So Kenny at 30, as we're getting ready to crest that 1 minute mark on the little grill badge. Got Kenny at 30 coming up on the minute and 20-second mark. Shoot, Kenny may just throw that out there and own this one. At this rate, who knows? Minute 20 has now passed. And 1 minute, 30 seconds has now passed. We're getting down to the wire on this one. So if you're thinking about bidding on this one, now's the time to throw it out there. Rusty is in at 35. 20 seconds left to go. Rusty at 35. 10 seconds. Kenny at 40. 5 seconds left to go. Kenny at 40. And that does it. Kenny at 40. Yep, Kenny's on it tonight. What else we got? We got, oh, wait a minute. We got bags 1 and 3 yet. Should we do one of those? Rusty said he's got a 25-second delay, so that's why I give you that minute 30 number, because that's where sometimes it's been that bad. So who wants to do another grab bag? Alec is taking bag number 2. We've got 1 or 3 left. So winner gets their choice, and then we will draw for the last one. So Brandon's starting us off at 20. You're going to get your choice. The winner gets their choice. We are live. I've got Jess at 25. We are live on the timer on this. You get your choice, bag 1 or 3, and then we will give away. We will draw for the third bag. Reno at 30. Jess at 35. Alex at 30, but we're already past that. I've actually got a bunch of people at 30. I've got Jess at 35 right now. Reno at 40. Kenny says he's eating ramen noodles next week. That's all right. As long as you're getting cool stuff, right? Jess is at 41. Alec at 45. Alec must just want all the bags. Reno at 48 as we hit the 1 minute mark on my end. One minute 20 has passed. Oh, you gotta see the emojis that Alec just posted when I said he wants all the bags. I think he does want all the bags. And we're coming up on the minute 30 mark. 130 has passed. Be thinking about your max bids. Reno at 48 is my high bidder. Alec at 51. David W. at 50 with 20 seconds left to go, but I've already got Alec at 51. So Alec's our high bidder at 51. 15 seconds left to go. Reno at 55 with 10 seconds. And that does it. Reno gets one at 55. So which one do you want, Reno? And Alec just came back in at 60. So number 3. Reno wants number 3. All right. So I guess we're going to draw for number 1, if that's what we want to do. If you guys want to draw for number 1, or do you want to sell number 1? So we can do it however you guys want. That's right. You just missed it, Alec. Tweedledee says draw. Draw. Okay. Everybody wants to draw for it. Perfect. Draw. All right. Hudson badge. We will do that when we get ready to do the raffle. Since that's an extra, we'll do that before the raffle, and then that's a freebie. So, oh, I got something a little bit bigger too. That will have shipping on it. We'll say $20 shipping. If you guys want to do this. That parking meter was $32 to ship. Yeah. So but we've got a toy. It's just a little bit bigger. It's not extremely heavy. Alex says draw. Okay, we're going to draw for it. Everybody wants to draw. Let's check out a toy and see if you guys are interested in this with $20 shipping. Doug, are there any oil cans? We've done a few cans, and we've got at least one more can bundle to go as well yet tonight. So we're going to do at least one more can bundle, if not a couple of cans. I don't know if there was any coins in the meter or not. I didn't get it open, so I got a Hudson badge though. But like I said, if anybody's interested, I'll sell this, but there will be $20 shipping, and it may be more than that after what that parking meter costs, but we'll just figure it at even $20 across the board just on shipping if there is any interest in this Structo Toys road grader. Still got the Structo sticker on it. Front wheels turn. So actually that the rear axle goes two ways, up and down and side to side. Still has the engine in it. It looks like it's missing the smokestack. I don't know if it's missing any other pieces or not. Blade is still here. I don't know how the blade works. It's got a little lever over here, but I don't know how it's supposed to pivot or what it's supposed to do. I ain't figured it out. Probably not. I don't know if I'm qualified enough to operate this heavy equipment or not. But anyway, there it is. Like I said, it does have, this is an all metal toy with the exception of the wheels, and the engine is plastic. So, but it does have a little bit of weight to it since it is all metal. So there would be $20 shipping on this. If anybody's interested in it, kick us off and let's get started on it. Just know there's going to be shipping on it, and we'll see what we do with it. So. Jason's digging the orange. Doug's looking for an old school parking meter. Well, we sold one last week, and I've got one more that we'll probably sell here in a few weeks, depending on, I've got a couple of them. I don't know which ones I'm going to sell, which one I'm going to keep. X-Ray Dean says 20, and we're going to figure $20 shipping on it as well. So if we're all good with that, we'll go ahead and go with it. Reno's at 50. Let's kick it off on the timer. Just remember, there's going to be $20 shipping because it's got a little bit of meat to it, but that's because it's actually a metal toy. You hear it creaking? It's because it's a metal toy. Reno at 50. Let me get my notes made here. It does not have a Structo sticker on the other side. Just this side. I popped over to Whalen Wires Live for a bit. I missed any good deals? They're all good deals, Outcast, but we're glad you're back. All right, Reno is at 50 on the Structo grader. All metal, other than the wheels and the engine. And I think maybe the light. Yeah, the headlights are plastic. But needs some John Deere graphite. That's right, Brandon does. It's a little squeaky. But 1 minute has now passed. I've got Reno at 50. Yeah, it's a cool piece. And like I said, it's an all-metal toy. It's been played with a little bit. It's been loved a little bit. It's got some scratches and scuffs. But considering, it's got to be 50, 60 years old, it doesn't look too bad at all. Reno at 50 plus $20 shipping on this piece. As we come up on the minute 30 mark, Reno at 50, 1 minute, 30 seconds has now passed. Reno may have blown everybody out of the water. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you throw a good number out there and you take care of your own competition by doing that. With 20 seconds left, look at the bottom side of this thing. Look at these rear axles, up and down, sideways, back and forth, around and around. 15 seconds left to go. Reno at 50, 10, 5, and that does it. Reno at 50. Reno, that tactic worked, Reno. You threw a number. If you'd have thrown 25 out there, probably people would have run you all the way up to 60. But Reno blew everybody out with 50, and that worked. Let's do a can. Let's do a can with a surprise. It's kind of a rougher can, but it still looks neat. I'll give you a Hudson badge. This is a 1 gallon antifreeze can. It is metal. I know it's metal because it's rusted out of the bottom, so it's easy to tell it's metal. On a pressed stone antifreeze can. This is all surface rust here, but it does have a rusted out corner at the bottom. It is double-sided. It says pressed stone on both sides. Ever ready. Looks like a battery from the side. Top is cut out. Oh, look right there. What's that? That's right. This is a 2-for deal. Inside is another pressed stone antifreeze can. You're going to get both of them, the pair. One-shot deal. You get them both on a matched set of the pressed stone antifreeze cans. This one kind of the same way. A little bit of surface rust, but it is a metal can. Brandon's kicking us off at 20. But it's kind of cool. They're literally almost aged and weathered together. I guess is the best way to put it. So it is a neat deal. Like I said, it's kind of cool that they're both kind of almost the same shape. I drained this one from the bottom. Top has not been punched, but it's like a matched set of patinaed Prestone cans. So got X-Ray Dean at 24 as we kick it off on the timer, and I'm going to make my notes. X-Ray at 24. That's right. Jason says they are mates. That's exactly what they are. That's why I figured, what the heck? They are the same company. They're the same brand. They're aged about the same. They're weathered about the same. They look about the same. I was like, these things are kind of made for each other. Although they came from 2 different places, they're kind of made for each other. Brandon at 25. Bill Disk at 26. This one says Ever Ready on it too, so. X-Ray at 28. And 1 minute has now passed. X-Ray at 28 on the pair. 2 cans for $28. That's cheap. One minute, 20 seconds has now passed. Just about to come up on the minute 30 mark. X-Ray at 28. And 1 minute, 30 seconds has now passed. We're on the backside of this. If you're going to jump in, now's the time to do it. X-Ray at 28. 20 seconds left to go. Johnny Z at 30. 15 seconds. X-Ray at 32. 10 seconds. X-Ray at 32 is my high bidder. Coming down to the wire, X-Ray at 32. And that does it. X-Ray at 32. So I just thought that was a cool set, the way they weathered and matched and everything. So that's right. Number 1 X-Ray needs a pocket can. He'll have the whole set. How about another little badge? This is a really cool badge, an early enamel badge. Probably 20s era. It's small, but it's cool on the Chevrolet bow tie. Does have a little bit of chipping over here on this end. This is a fairly small badge, so I want everybody to understand that. This is 3 inches by 1 inch. So this is not a big one. It's only 3 inches tip to tip on width. This was a pressed on button on the back on like a grill shell where they press this down to hold it into place. It is enamel. Like I said, we've got some chipping on this end. We've got a little bit of chipping around here. Obviously, great colors on this little Chevrolet badge. And like I said, I'm thinking this is 20s, but I don't know for sure. But it is that era. But it is a cool piece. So anyway, it is tweaked just a little bit. I need to mention that. It is tweaked just a little bit. So everybody knows that. So anyway, anybody interested in the Chevrolet badge? Alec at 15, Jason at 20. Let's go ahead and get this thing on the timer. I've got Jason at 20. Kenny at 22. Get this, need to keep it up here so you can get a little better look at it instead of leaning back where you can't see it. Kenny at 22, because this is a cool piece. Kenny at 22 as we work towards the 1 minute mark. These old enamel badges are so great. I mean, it's things close to 100 years old, if not 100 years old, still has this kind of color. It's cool stuff. Kenny at 22. As we tick along, I've got Alec at 24 now. As we come up on the 1 minute mark, at the 1 minute mark, I've got Alec at 24. Johnny Z at 25. And just about to the minute 20 mark. We're at the minute 20 on my end. When I tell you a minute 30 is gone, like I said, we've had some delays of up to 25 seconds you guys are reporting tonight. So be thinking about it as of right now because we are at the minute 30 mark. There are 30 seconds left on my end. Johnny Z at 25 on the little Chevrolet badge. 20 seconds left to go. 15. David W. at 26. Pete at 41. 10 seconds left. Pete at 41. Kenny at 46. And that does it. Kenny at 46. Kenny at 46 on that one. Had all kinds of bids coming in there. Had Alec, but Kenny at 46 had everybody covered on the little Chevy badge. Car Guy's on. He saw the article on In Old Cars. Appreciate that, Car Guy. That I do a lot of work with those guys. We had another article on 75 Olds 98 that was just published as well. That is on their Facebook page that came out, I think, in the issue after the one you saw. So appreciate that. Tony no, I do not have the grill for Super Duty Hood Scoop. I had 3 or 4 of those scoops over the years and actually kind of had them rat hole. And finally, about 5 or 6 years ago, I sold them all off. So do not have a grill for any of those at all. Got a Hudson badge, though. All right, we're lining up a couple of more things. And then we're going to get onto the magazine. I've got a can. I've got an emblem. I've got a Cub cap. I've got a license plate. What else have we got here? We got all kinds of cool stuff. All right, let's start off with it. This is a different can. I don't know anything about it. Appreciate that, Leo. We always try to do a good job for you guys. This is a metal brake fluid can from Gamble's Varcon. Gamble's Skogmo, Minneapolis, Minnesota, motor vehicle brake fluid. You can see the seam on it here. Original cap. It is empty. Red, black, and white Varcon brake fluid 1 quart can. Anybody interested in this one? It's a little bit different. It's a little bit, out of the ordinary compared to some of these. It's kind of a cool can. I've had it in the box. I've been going to show it to you and see what you guys think as to whether or not there's any interest in this one. Because like I said, it's kind of different. Rusty's going to kick us off at 10. So it's, like I said, it's just a little bit different than what the other ones that we've seen. It's a good conversation starting. Yeah, because it's different. So Rusty's going to start us off at 10. Let's go ahead and get it on the timer on the Varcon brake fluid can. It is definitely different. It could be a rare can. I don't know, but it is definitely a different can. It is all metal. We see the seam on it. It's still got the metal cap on it. Has a good logo. Has good colors. So Brandon at 13. As we tick along on it, like I said, it's different. I don't know if that's good or bad. Dennis is at 18. So if you guys like it a little bit, it's got to be worth something. So Rusty used to work for Gamble's. Take a look at the back of it. Rusty at 20. As we come up on the 1 minute mark. 1 minute has now passed. Rusty at 20. Dennis at 23. I think it's kind of neat. Sometimes the stuff that is a little bit different is kind of neat because it's stuff you don't see. Rusty's back at 25 as we're coming up on the 1 minute, 30 second mark. Rusty at 25. And 1 minute, 30 seconds has passed. If you're going to jump in on this thing, now is the time to do it. Rusty at 25. 20 seconds left. Dennis at 26. 15 seconds. Dennis at 26. Rusty at 30. Just about done. I've got Rusty at 30. Tweely D at 32, and that does it. Oh, Tweely D snuck in right there at the end. Tweely D just kind of sat there and laid low till boom, right there at the last second. He slid that one in. That kind of came out of left field. Nobody even knew that one was coming. Tweety says it's about time he got one. How about another plate? Plates are great. They're easy to display. They tell an awesome story. And we're going to go back to, of course, Kansas again, like the majority of my plates. We do a few Missouri, Colorado, things like that. But for the most part, we usually do Kansas. To 1949. In 49, Kansas had a pretty much standard size plate that we're used to. 12 by 6, right at 12 by 6. This is an aluminum plate, and it is a natural finished aluminum plate. Oh, yeah, he's not a problem anymore. Took care of him. This background is raw aluminum with black letters. Mike's got to jump off. Glad you made it for most of the night. Glad you got to hang out with us. We see it embossed on the back, the Wheat State, Kansas, 1949, 36-1147. Like I said, this is all like natural metal aluminum with painted letters in 49 for Kansas. I think they did the same thing in 50 as well. Even Alec on Facebook said it was a good snipe, Tweedly D. So, yep, you just kind of snuck in at the end on that one. This plate has some typical dings and dents. We can see a little bit over on the edge. It's got a little bit of a bow to it, but not terrible. But like I said, in 49 and I believe in 50, 50 I think was a natural aluminum with green letters in 50 in Kansas. This is a 49 natural aluminum with black letters. No extra holes, no serious heavy corrosion on it. Just a good looking plate. So anybody going to kick us off on the 49 Kansas plate tonight? Let's see. Let's go ahead and kick it off. See if anybody's going to jump in on this one. Get it on the timer. David W. at 15. David W. at 15. I've got Alec at 15 as well, but I had already had David W. at 15 on YouTube. And we're ticking along. Like I said, this one does have a little wear to it. Some of the letters or the numbers are scuffed and scratched. Alec at 18. Alec at 18 on the 49 plate. Yes, Outcast, you can have an antique plate reassigned to a vehicle in Kansas. You can do that. As we come up on the 1 minute mark, Alec at 18. I don't know if these were inmate made or not. Alec at 18, and while we're waiting, we'll slide one of those in for you as well. As we hit the minute 20 mark, Alec at 18. And 1 minute, 30 seconds has passed. So be thinking about your max bid if you're going to slide in on this one. $20 seconds left. Alec at 18. 15. 10 seconds left. Reno at 20. Alec at 23. And that does it. Alec at 23. That was between that 158 and 2 because I thought Reno had that and Alex slid that in at 23 and then Tweedledee at 25. But Alec at 23 is who we had when we hit the 2 minute mark. How about another Emblem? This is a little bit different. This is earlier. It's kind of a cool piece. It is Chevrolet. This is like a 41 or maybe a 40 Chevrolet, like a hood molding insert for a Master Deluxe. This is stainless. Obviously has a great shine to it. I believe this background area would have been painted. We can see these, I think it was blue. Little bits of blue on this one. This was blue paint. This was background painted. The Master Deluxe, as well as these bars on the ends, were left bright stainless against the blue paint. This had a metal plate on the back of it, which is rusted out, which held this. So I'm assuming there must have been a couple of studs in this metal plate, which are no longer there. It is flat mount. It is not bent up. You can put a piece of double-sided tape on it and hang it up. On the Master Deluxe for, like I said, I think it's 41, but maybe a 40 Chevrolet on this piece. This thing is 11 1/4 long by 1 inch high. So we're 11 1/4 by 1 inch. So anybody digging this piece? Yeah, Jason's is at 10. So we'll go ahead and kick this thing off. I've got Jason starting us off at 10. We are on the timer. I'm going to get my notes made on this one. Reno at 15. As we are live, I've got Reno at 15. Why did you better be careful? I don't know if you guys got your sunglasses back out or not, but this one's getting a little. This one's catching the light a little bit too. So, and I've got Alec at 18. Alec at 18 on the Master Deluxe. Reno at 22. Kenny says, hit the like button. Appreciate that. We'll throw up a Hudson badge as well. Reno at 22. As we come up on that 1 minute point on the Master Deluxe badge. Reno at 22. Alec at 26. Whoa, about dropped it. Don't want to drop it, damage it. Nice and flat. Be a good place to stick that up somewhere. Alec at 26. And we have hit the minute 30 mark. 1 minute 30 seconds has passed. I've got David W. at 27. I got David W. at 27. 15 seconds left. Reno at 28. 10. Just about done. That's going to do it. Reno at 28. So that's kind of a neat piece too. All right, I got one more hubcap, one more license plate. How about we knock out those two pieces and then call it a night? The next hubcap we're going to do, we haven't done one of these before, I don't think, is a Buick. Holy cow. I hope you guys can see the cap because I can see myself on the computer screen in the cap that clearly. So I hope you guys can actually see the cap itself. A few dings and dents in it. Super bright chrome, obviously. This Buick is embossed in here. This does have ridges on the sides. It is pretty decent on the back as well. It is 11 inches in diameter, so it is a little bit bigger than some of these other caps that we have been doing. Kenny's kicking us off at 30. This is 40s era, I believe, maybe early 50s. Special used a small cap up until 50, 51, 52. Special used a standard cap. So this might be like 51, 52 at the newest, but probably 40s. Reno at 45. Let's get the timer started on this thing. We've got several bids on it already. I've got Reno at 45. That's right, Alec. That's a heck of a shine because I can see me and the computer in the cap clearly. So that's kind of crazy. Let's see. Kenny at 48 on the Buick cap. I can shield the glare from it. David W. at 50. Randy says matches his 48 Roadmaster. Reno at 52. I didn't know you had a 48 Roadmaster, Randy. Dad's got a 48 Roadmaster too. Reno at 52. Kenny's got his shades on. Reno at 52 as we're coming up on the 1 minute mark. 1 minute has now passed. Reno at 52. Keep the glare down here. As we hit that minute 20 mark, Kenny at 53. Coming up on that minute 30. Minute 30 has now passed, so be thinking about your max bid. Kenny at 53. Reno at 60 on the Buick cap. $20 seconds left to go. 15. Kenny at 61. 10 seconds left. Reno at 62. And that will do it. Reno at 62. That was Kenny and Reno kind of beating each other up $1 at a time there, and Kenny came back, but it was too late. Let's see. Randy's grandfather bought that 48 Roadmaster new and have been in the family ever since. Well, it seems like ours has been around that long, so I think Dad bought it in 78. When I was 77 or 78, something like that, I was like 4. So I've literally never known life without having a 48 Roadmaster in it, even though we didn't buy it new. Of course, Dad wasn't even born in 48. So, all right, one more license plate, and then let's call it a night for auctions. We saved the best for last on license plates. Early tag, low number. It checks all the boxes. A little bit of age to it, but 1934 Kansas. David W. just throwing $20 out there, so he's ready to go. 1934 Kansas, 2-digit plate, number 14 on the 34 plate. Kind of a beigeish, I don't know if it's an off-white or a tan background, black letters, X-ray at 22. It has a, there again, has some extra holes in it, not sure if they're original. It is pretty flat considering its age. Back looks pretty decent on it. Tweedledee at 35. 2-digit 1934 Kansas plate. So, still displays good. Shows a little age. Shows a little patina. Tweedledee at 35. Let's kick this thing off on the timer. Get it going. Reno at 60. Reno is not messing around on this one. It is cool to see a low number plate, though, especially at that age, with that kind of age on it. Reno's pulling out the big guns. It worked for him on the toy. It may work for him on this one. He just threw a good number out on the toy and nobody messed with him. But there again, it's a 34. It's a 2-digit plate. It still displays well. Not something you're going to stumble across every day. Kenny at 61. As we're coming up on the 1 minute mark, I've got Reno at 75 at the 1 minute mark. This is another one of those that if I hadn't bought that collection, this would be a keeper with a 2-digit number. So, but like I said, I've got my full set of Bartons, so some of this other stuff can go. Reno at 75 as we hit the minute 20 mark. Minute 20's gone. When we hit that minute 30 mark, please remember thinking about your max bid because we do have some heavy delays tonight. And 1 minute 30 seconds has passed. I've got Reno at 75. $20 seconds left. 15. 10. David W. at 100 even. And that does it. David W. at 100 even. He even threw the skull and crossbones. Not only was it a $100 bid, it was the $100 bid with the Jolly Roger skull and crossbones. Reno came back at 145, but unfortunately it was too late. Trust me, I would love to take that bid, Reno, but it was too late. David W. at 100 even. And the skull and crossbones, though, he didn't even scare Reno. He was just a little bit too late. Holy cow. But it's a cool piece, so. Anyway, a lot of fun. We need to get going, get onto the magazine. We've still got more cool stuff lined up for next week. We also got an Auburn badge. On to the magazine. Half a magazine, actually. And this isn't a real thick magazine. We could have snuck the whole thing in, but that's right, Kenny. Definitely congratulations to all the winners. It was a lot of fun. We had some cool stuff tonight, and we've got a lot more cool stuff lined up for next week already. Big Job finally made it. Big Job is here. But if you remember a couple weeks ago, we did a viewer box, and there was 4 really cool magazines in there. So we're going to start working on one of those. And like I said, this isn't a super thick magazine, but I'm still only going to do half of it because there's so much great stuff in here that if we try to do the whole thing, we either go way, way, way long or we skip half the stuff. So I still stuck with the half the magazine format tonight on the April 1962 issue of Speed Mechanics with a 35-cent cover price. All right, David Reno's gunning for you. He's going to get you next time. So Steve jumped on with us. But that's what's cool. That's why we have a lot of fun. You guys are great sports. We're all in here having a great time. It supports my time financially for what I put into this. It adds to your collections, and we have a ton of fun doing it. You guys are great sports. We don't have any attitudes or egos. That's what's making it a great time and making it fun. But the Speed Mechanics from 62. This is one out of the viewer box. Let's go ahead and get started on this one. As you can see, the 62 Dodge on the front cover, as well as the Predicta, the Darryl Starbird Predicta on the bottom. And since this is the only color picture we're going to get to see, we'll take a little better look at the Predicta with all of these 59 Cadillac taillights. A bunch of them were whited out. 3 on each side actually functioned. But there's a great rear color shot of the Predicta. So let's go ahead and pop this thing open. One thing about this magazine, it is not very big. It's 60-some pages, but it is all business. It is all cars. It is all hot rodding. It is all black and white, of course, like we see even in the 70s stuff. It's all still mostly black and white. But Dodge for 62 is a darter. This car actually was a 62 Dart with a 361 V8 in it, 305 horsepower, 395 pounds of torque with a Chrysler Torque Flight automatic. These were, depending on how you looked at it, a face only a mother could love, I think. I mean, the 62 Dart, you loved it or you hated it. It was not probably the number one just says yuck. It was probably not the top choice for design in the 60s, I'm guessing. But it is an interesting car nonetheless. It was very, very almost too forward thinking, I guess would be one way to put it. Every time I see a 62 Dart, I always remember a good friend of mine named Ray. That's where I was going, X-Ray, actually. That's exactly where I was heading with this conversation. Good friend of mine named Ray, who actually he was one of my trainers when I worked for Chrysler. He'd been with Chrysler since the 60s. And I worked with him for several months when I first started. Randy says it's like an ugly stepdaughter, yeah. And he was an old drag racer, so obviously him and I got along pretty well. Great guy, but when they first started racing, they bought a 62 Dart with a 413 in it. And I think it was a 413. I don't think it was 426. I think it was a 413, and they drag raced it. And that's right, it's an ugly baby. The reason they got a good deal on it, they lived in Texas, and a guy bought it new in California and drove this thing to Texas. And I don't remember if it had 456s in it or 411s, but it had 411s or 456s in it with a 413, and he drove it from California to Texas. He said that guy couldn't wait to get rid of that car after he got to Texas. So this guy that I knew, him and his brother bought the car, and they started racing it. It had the factory high-performance exhaust manifolds on it. They're racing it. They yanked them off, slapped headers on it. They literally threw the cast iron headers, high-performance exhaust manifolds, out in the trash. Threw them away. And the trash man wouldn't take them. He said if they laid out there for a couple days, they wouldn't pick them up because they were big, heavy cast iron. So he said we literally had to take a sledgehammer and bust them into pieces and throw the chunks in the trash of the factory cast iron headers off that 62 Dart with a 413 or 426, but it was a super stock Dart. And they literally had to smash the factory cast iron headers to throw them away. But that's how little anybody cared back in the 60s. They wanted to go racing. They were slapping headers on it. It didn't matter. Shopcat has a recent video with one of the rarest 62 Darts ever. Go check that one out. Cool. So, yeah, so every time I see a 62 Dart, it always reminds me of my friend Ray. But this one here actually was, a regular, well, there was a 4-door and a 2-door. This car was a 4-door. This car was a 2-door. 361 powered on the road test. Oh, he's got a worse. Actually, you say that's a bummer. There's actually one story better than that. Real quick, in 1970, him and his brother bought a brand new plum crazy purple Hemi Challenger to run pro stock with. Raced it for a year and sold it. Actually, they got rid of their Herb McCandless Hemi Dart. They bought Herb McCandless Hemi Dart. They were running that. Then they bought a 70 Challenger, Hemi 70 Challenger, raced that. And then they got rid of that car in the early to mid 70s. And in 1980, a guy that he knew from back in those days had ordered a brand new purple 71 Hemi Challenger after Ray had gotten his 70 Hemi Challenger. That guy called him in 1980 and said, hey, I've still got that Challenger. Do you want to buy it? And he said, well, what do you want for it? And the guy said, I want $1 for every mile that I've put on that car. And it had somewhere in the 4,000 mile range, 4,400 or 4,600 miles on it. I think maybe it was 4,700 miles is what it had on it. He said, I want $1. So it was like $4,738 or whatever the mileage was at that point. And he didn't buy it. Not right then. He had to think about it. It's like, man, that was a ton of money for a 10-year-old used Challenger. Even though it was low mileage, it was very nice. That was a lot of money for a 10-year-old used Challenger. So he passed on it at first. Finally, a few weeks later, they kept talking about it. He finally went back and bought the car for whatever the $1 a mile was, somewhere in the mid $4,000 range, on an original, unmolested, untouched, roughly 4,500 mile Hemi Challenger. And a couple months after he bought it, some guy heard about it and called him, and he said that guy was crazy, and I sold him the car because he offered me $7,500 for that car. So he's like, I thought I cut a fat hog. I cashed the guy's check. I was thrilled to death because he got $7,500 out of a 4,500 mile 71 Hemi Challenger. So anyway, another story, but the 62 Dart road test, they got some great pictures on this thing, even some action shots, some interior shots. Pretty unique design. Even on the inside, we can see the dash cluster, kind of a funky steering wheel, some action shots on the oval track. Good shot of the drum brakes. And the super gripping, sink into, wrap around you for your high performance driving bench seat, of course. And that's all they had on the 62 Dart. Did not actually give it. Let's just continue. Let's see if we got some data back here. No actual data on the road tests. Just talks about the car. 361 cubic inch, 9-to-1 compression, dual point distributor. Even at speeds of 110 miles an hour on the test track, car was amazing. The car was amazingly stable. On the 62 Dodge Dart. So, sorry we kind of got off on a tangent there. Anytime I see a 62 Dart, obviously that story pops into my head. The next article is also going to cover the same era of Mopar, only it's a little bit different. It's something that's kind of weird today. We ought to get a Hudson badge up there, though. Add extra horses to your slant six. Not something you always have a conversation about. Typically, the slant six, the Mopar slant six, also known as the Leaning Tower of Power, was not known for having a lot of power. They were reliable. They'd run forever if you took care of them. Brian, dispatch got to jump off. It sounds good. Get some rest, buddy. And this was how to add extra horses to your slant six. Exhaust, carburation, crazy. Yeah, 4-barrel for your slant six. 4-barrel dual exhaust. Jim Cool's modified Valiant can turn on some truly unusual steam, enough to make most V8 worry owners worry. And actually show some detail here. Manifold is mill flat and opened in carb area to accept adapter. Longer exhaust studs are needed for the heat riser. Yes, they milled out the exhaust or the intake manifold, had an adapter plate for a 4-barrel. I mean, this was getting pretty high tech for the era with a slant six Mopar. Alex, familiar with him? He had some stuff that had him. Did you modify them with 4-barrels, Alec? I mean, it was kind of crazy to see all this. I mean, in-depth shots on how to do it. X-Ray digs it. Yeah, it is different. It is neat. And you think about it, and that's the other thing. That's what's cool about these magazines. We have to put ourselves back in this time period. Remember, we're not in 2022 anymore. We're 60 years ago. We were in April of 1962. In 1962, everybody had a V8, but they weren't that common yet. The V8s had only been in normal production for 10 years or so. Alex said, no, we yanked and put a 318 in. So working with a 6-cylinder was still pretty common in 62. A lot of guys did stuff with the 6-cylinder Chevys, the 235s, the 261s. So working with this inline 6 in this time period was pretty common. We don't think about it much today. You put a V8 in it, but back then you didn't have V8s on every corner. And if you did have them, they were still fairly pricey. So you worked with what you had. That's what this article was about. And it's kind of funny here. This magazine's kind of falling apart. I got to be kind of careful with it. If you guys can see it, it actually shows that big old 4-barrel hanging off the side of that Leaning Tower of Power. Now, the next article has a ton of great pictures, and that's what we're probably going to focus on primarily on that. X-Ray dad, his dad ran 390s and T-Birds and Mercuries, number one, plus some family. And that's a good point. That's a very good point, number one. Some families didn't trust V8s. They'd had inline 6s so long. That's what they were used to. That's what they were comfortable with. Brand loyalty, engine loyalty ran deep. You were 100% correct, number one. Because remember, we're talking 60 years ago. Things were different. Brand loyalty was a huge deal. Brandon's got to jump off. Glad you made it. Rusty Nails is here. But the next article, what made 61 AHRA champion cars tick? Yep, American Hot Rod Association drag cars. That's right, Steve. They did have dual carb intakes for the old 6-cylinder Chevys, two 1-barrels, absolutely. Very, very common back in the day to do that, to do an inline 6. But there's a ton of great pictures. So this whole cover is about to come off here. Maybe I'll just take the cover off because the cover is falling off. On the 61 AHRA cars, check out these diggers on the line taking off. Or getting ready to do a burnout, actually. I think. They smoked the tire so bad off the line. I don't know if they're doing a burnout or actually launching. Bill this says 10 for the cover. But there's best way to do is just show you guys these, because there are a couple of pages of there's 4 pages of just awesome pictures of old drag racing footage. So This is the best way to just take this in for a minute. We'll just do this. Let you guys absorb it. I absorbed it last night when I was working on it, but love this dude's shirt though, real quick. Right over here, Giovanni, King of Cams. Oh yeah. Pete loves that. Everybody, I think everybody loves those old diggers. Those slingshot front engine dragsters, those things are super cool. Oh, one other thing. Did anybody else notice that? I saw that last night. I forgot to mention that. Check that one out. Look a little odd. Allison Aircraft Power. Yep, nothing like slapping a V12 Allison aircraft engine and then sitting on top of that and going for a quarter-mile run. So that's right, Randy, when men were men, that's for sure. Because you had to have a pretty big set if you're going to throw a V12 Allison under there and then go sit basically right on top of it and go stand on the wood, stand on the pedal on that thing. You put that thing to the wood, you better be hanging on. Actually, that wouldn't fit in my plane, Bill. That's a V12. They use those in P-40 Warhawks. That plane I bought had radials on it. That's right, X-ray with no shields. That's true, yeah. But the next couple of pages, more super cool stuff, including an awesome shot of an Isky Cams blown front engine digger with the front wheels up. Art Crispin with the Hustler 1. Just like I said, so many great pictures. Number one says those things were so low you had to press up to floor it. Yeah. Pete, have a 6-foot wooden digger that is unbelievable. That'd be cool. Big Job remembers those old diggers. Aircraft engine in front of an automotive 4-speed. Yeah, yeah. And then you sat right on top of it, basically. On to a few cool project cars. There again, we're talking, we're in 1962. We're not in 2022. We're in 1962. So we need to keep that in mind as we check out some of these hot rod builds. This one was entitled Pre-Grad Project, where a college student put this together. Started with a 28 Model A body. And every time I see one of these little Model A, not necessarily a factory roadster pickup, but a little chopped down roadster looking pickup, reminds me of the Ralph Mouth car on Happy Days, where they had a little Model A body with a little tiny pickup bed behind it. That's kind of what this is. Kind of remind me of the Ralph Mouth from Happy Days. Randy, with a nice picture, lower right of the old 671. Oh, yeah, right there on the blower, if we didn't point that one out. Well, this little Model A build, and what was really cool about this, obviously, definitely a stereotypical 60s type hot rod with a Model A body. What was not stereotypical was this thing was already packing Hemi power. Hemis were still pretty tough to get a hold of at this point. I think this was a 392, if I remember correctly. Let me see what it says here. They've got it listed as a 57 engine, but a 354. But even at that, getting a hold of a 354 or a 392 by 62 was still tough. So there was not a lot of options out there for engine power if you wanted to go with a Hemi. A lot of them, you could start to get some 331s, but the early 331s were extended bell housing. You get to some of the smaller red Rams, but if you were stepping up to 354, 392 power, that was a pretty big deal. That's right, Pete. Pete's agreeing with me. It's like the Ralph Mouth car. That's what I think of every time I see a little Model A like this. So Kevin's got a bail out. Glad you made it. Metal body, Hemi power. That's right, X-ray. Back what they did back in the day. So. Oh, Pete just sent me a picture of his wooden one. I don't know if he built this thing or what. but it is pretty cool. Let's see. Jeff from Ottawa was watching from work but missed the promo. We'll throw it up here in just a minute then. That's right, Randy. That was a late model engine. That's why it was kind of crazy that he got a hold of it, for a build like that. There it is, Jeff, the 58 Buick Roadmaster promo model. So anyway, thought that was kind of cool. Like I said, always reminds me of Ralph Mal from Hollywood or from Happy Days, but neat that, stepping up with that late model of Hemi power in a hot rod like that. Next hot rod we're going to check out, more diggers. They did an article on this, built in 3 weeks. On this little front engine digger, also packing Hemi power with a blower. And this is a great looking car, definitely early 60s. No problem, Jeff. That's right. Pete said wood is a dangerous statement. That is true, number one. That is a dangerous statement. So, but this is a great looking car, built in 3 weeks, packing Hemi power. It's amazing when you look at how these things were designed. I mean, look at the roll bar, just 2 hoops, barely covering the driver's head, and that's what you had, and you hope for the best. That's kind of what it amounted to. That's right. I guess Big Job missed the promo as well, so we got her snuck in there now. But great piece. Bunch more cool pictures on this one. So we're really going to be able to get a good look at this and some detail. For as detailed as they could get in black and white. But these shots are great. That's right. Potsy is still jealous, says Kenny. That's true. Pete says those guys were crazy. Yep, that is an understatement. Alex says, hold on. That's right. Especially when you're packing a blown Hemi and you're sitting between a couple of pieces of bent pipe. But I'll hold these up here for a little bit so you guys can kind of take these shots in, because it is really great. A lot there to see, a lot of as detailed as you can get for black and white pictures. But quite a car for that time period. There again, packing blown late model Hemi power. That took some doing back in the day. That's right, X-ray, no cross bracing. That's true, Randy. It was scary high tech back in the day to have all this cool stuff, And another thing I want to point out, and I've seen these, and I know we've all seen it, but it's just crazy to think about. When you look at the cockpit of these things, I mean, this is it. This is the cockpit. And your pedals and your steering wheel are up here, and your differential's right here, and you're sitting right here. And there's the transmission, and there's the blown Hemi. Yeah. That didn't always work out so well for some guys. But they drove them. They got in them, and they stood on the loud pedal, and they went. Kid probably went to a college, had some secret Chrysler research. He got hooked up by executive engineer. Possible, you never know. But yeah, I mean, literally, when you look at this shot and you look at this shot right here, and you think about your butt's going to sit right here, your legs are going to go up over this and up to these pedals, okay? Now, we look at this picture here where the back of the engine and the blower are. There's not a lot of real estate right here, and you're sitting right there. So your feet are probably just about right in this vicinity is what I'm guessing. So, yeah, basically draped your legs right over the rear axle. Number one says a lot of colleges had Chrysler Labs. Randy, yep, the boys rested on the differential, feet by the clutch. Men were men. X-ray. My seat was bolted to the differential on his altered bracket car. That's right, Jason, a vasectomy on wheels. And no, Rusty, there was not much for an airbag in these things. But it was still cool. There again, it is definitely a sign of the past. And kind of crazy to think about it. But it's the way they did it. Hudson badge. Russian roulette with a race car. That's true. Steve, I know an old man who still has his rail with a Hemi still in it, built a long time ago. That's cool. That's true. Actually, there's a car here in town, and I need to go talk to R and see if he'll let me do a video on it. R.C. Williams run twin engine cars back in the 60s and 70s, and one of his last twins has been restored. A friend of mine, Mike Newkirk, actually drives the car for him. It's packing a set of twin Hemis in that car. It's pretty neat, so we ought to do some video on that as well. So Bill says you don't need all that safety. Yeah, that's true. So, but on to one more car article in this one. Alec must have connected the transmission right to the rear. You know, some of them they did pretty much. On Daryl Starbird's Predicta. Starbird was from Wichita, Kansas. They still do the Starbird show there every year. I've been to it several times. It's actually called the Starbird Devlin show now. But like I said, legendary customizer from Wichita, Kansas. And believe it or not, the Predicta, which was a bubble car, actually started a life off as a Thunderbird. Yes, this car was a baby bird originally and turned into the Predicta. Once again, unfortunately, we've just got black and white pictures, but we're going to check it out. But there are a lot of them. So it's going to give us, guys can kind of get a little bit of an idea of what this thing was. But this actually started life as a baby bird. I don't know if it was a 55, 6, or 7, but it was a baby bird. That's what the Predicta was built off of. Cool shot right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, the Deep Rock sign up here in the corner. Dad actually worked at a Deep Rock station back in the mid to late 60s. He's actually got that Deep Rock sign hanging in his shop. So I don't think it's that one off that pole, but that same size yellow and blue Deep Rock sign. So quite a car. And there again, you've got to remember, this was a baby bird. So it was a 55, 6, or 7. This is 1962, and this car is done. So say it was a 55. That means you're taking like a 2015 and building a full custom out of it. Yeah, that is a bubble. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but this is a bubble over the top of the car. And there again, with the black and white pictures, it's pretty tough. Yeah, you can't see some 61 Starliner in it, number one. I don't know if Starbird was wealthy or not. I don't really know how he did it, but obviously you're starting off with essentially new cars, or, this is done in 62. So it had to have been started, say worst case scenario, 60 with a 5-year-old car. So actually, he said he saw an article where it talked about Starbird building a bubble. And I guess here's a better shot. This shot right here is the bubble. You can see it's got the little spine in it, but there is the bubble itself. Alex says, looks like start of the Batmobile. Actually, the Batmobile was not that highly modified. When you study it, that was built off the Lincoln Futura show car, and a lot of that design was in the show car when Barris got that car. All those caddy taillights would break somebody. That's true. But a little bit of a few more build shots of this car, and you can actually see how far they took this Thunderbird down before they started coming up. Not much left of it. Starbird did have a traveling road show. I don't know how much of that he owned or how much money he made off that, but yeah, there was a traveling Starbird type show thing. Still is today. They do the Wichita show, they do a Tulsa show. Not as big, but they do still do some of that stuff. So there it is, the Daryl Starbird Predicta, a legendary car even to this day, really. But in 62, that was a pretty big deal. One more article, kind of along the lines of some of the stuff we were just talking about. And then we've got a few ads, and then we're going to save the rest of the magazine for next week. Make your own fiberglass mold. Okay? It actually talks about how to make your own mold. Step by step. There again, it's very difficult to see because we've got all these little black and white pictures, how they're pulling a mold off a Corvette to make some custom parts. Randy says the Midwest promoter was the Levine family, the ISCA tour that Starboard was involved with. Said Big Josh says Bad Chad did some bubbles, did 2 bubbles up in Canada on some of the stuff he's been building. So this is one of these articles that's really cool, but to really get much out of it, you'd actually have to sit here and study the whole thing and read it. I know these small black and white pictures are tough to see, but there again, you don't see this kind of stuff anymore in today's car magazines. Build your own molds so you can build custom fiberglass parts. Some more shots of it. We'll let you take these in for a few seconds as well. Like I said, a lot to it, just difficult to keep up with all of it, but definitely something you don't see today. Definitely something that happened in the 60s in the custom car world. People were designing their own stuff. Fiberglass was not a new technology, but a somewhat foreign technology to a lot of people still at this point in time. So having all this stuff tied together like that, having all this information out there that people were learning was a pretty big deal. So kind of neat to see this type of tech stuff in these magazines. So that catches the articles. Not a lot of ads in here, but we're going to check out a few, and then we're going to move on to trivia or the raffle and new inventory. That's right, Randy. Too much labor now. You 3D print it. That's for sure. Alec didn't have many options back then to get parts like that. And that's true. And that's why these magazines did tech articles like that. If you want to customize your car, a lot of that stuff, you just had to figure out how to do it. But the first ad we're going to check out, like I said, not a ton of ads in here in the first part of the magazine. Had a few ads in the beginning, then they kind of got to the meat. So we'll have some more ads once we get more towards the back of the magazine next week. But the first our big full-page ad, not colored, because nothing was colored other than the cover. Earn big money, learn auto mechanics at home in spare time. You train with over 100 different auto tools. Get your free book, fax sent, professional training for auto mechanics and diesel. Had a cool cartoon character on it to catch your eye. Was a fiberglass out of California? I'll have to see. I didn't, like I said, there's so much information in that article. I'll have to look and see if it said California. Let's see. Detroit, Michigan. They were in Detroit when they did this one on that custom Corvette nose. That's right, Bill. Now it's called YouTube. That's right. And the only other ad in the first part of the magazine that we're going to check out, and this is pretty neat too, another full-page black and white ad, of course, on floor shifters. Yes, an entire full-page ad on floor shifters. Of course, from the J.C. Whitney Company. I mean, obviously, J.C. Whitney owned the aftermarket world back in that time. They were the mail order gurus. Sensational. Buy at only $29.95. Complete a floor shift conversion kit. Touch and go straight line. Multiple makes and models available. Convert your column shift transmission to the fastest floor shifter in the USA. Install Touch and Go, the new shift kit that gives you Jackrabbit getaway from the J.C. Whitney Company. No problem, Kenny. We caught it. Not a big deal. I don't know if they sent you a broken carb to rebuild or not. That was probably the information that was in the free fact book they were going to send you. But what was available? 61, 62 Buick Special. You could get Cadillac, LaSalle ones, Chevrolets, of course. $29.95 complete. Custom designed to fit American cars, including 1962s with standard or overdrive transmissions, unconditionally guaranteed for as long as you own your car. The J.C. Whitney Company, Chicago, Illinois. So there again, a full page ad but there again, converting to a floor shift was a big deal back then. Not so much now. Nobody cares because a lot of them have them. But I think J.C. Whitney's actually still in business, bud, just not near to the level of what they were back in the early 60s when they owned the market. Just like Randy just said, they were the hot rod place. But anyway, that covers the first half of the April 1962 issue of Speed Mechanics, one of the Viewer Box magazines that we got a few weeks ago. That's right, Kenny says 4 on the floor and a 5th under the seat. And back then, it wasn't that big a deal. I mean, not like it is today. It was not uncommon. A lot of guys had a bottle under the seat. I've got some trucks out at the yard, literally, some of those old farm pickups and stuff. There is literally a church key screwed to the dash. They just mounted one on the dash. So they could either, poke a beer can or pop the top off a bottle. Mounted them to the dash. That's how common it was. So Randy says they are still around. That's what I was thinking. So they do still exist. But anyway, that will get us for the first half of the magazine this week. David says J.C. Whitney catalog was extensive. Yeah, they had it was the go-to place back then. I mean, all these magazines we look at from the 50s and into the 60s, it's everyone. Some of them have multiple J.C. Whitney ads in the same issue. So Pete's digging this magazine. Alex likes the 3 on the tree. I don't know if there's classifieds in this one, Scott, because we haven't gotten to the back of it. I'll look and see real quick. We're going to catch the back of this one next week. I don't see any classifieds in this one. We've been splitting the magazines up, Scott, because there's so much cool stuff in some of these that just to try to keep either we have to skip over half of it or we end up being on here for 4 hours. So everybody has agreed over the last 3 or 4 magazines we've done. We've split them in half. Everybody's been very happy with that and glad the way it's going. And we're all getting a lot more out of the magazines by doing that. So that's the point of doing it that way. We'll catch the back half of the April 62 issue of Speed Mechanics next week and see what we've got in the back part of it. A lot of you guys are digging it. Like I said, we got 4 magazines in the viewer box a couple weeks ago. I think all 4 of them are going to be worth doing. I don't know if we'll do them all in a row, but we will definitely get all 4 of them knocked out because they all look really cool. So thanks to the viewer for that. That's right. Tweety D says we're all getting a lot more out of them by spending a few more minutes with them and splitting them up and taking them in 2-week segments. Anyway, time for trivia. I made it, I think, easy tonight. I'm sure you'll probably get it. We're going to put it on a timer anyway. That's right, Alec. You guys probably are getting thirsty. We'll just throw them both up there. Scott, okay, perfect, Scott. Scott doesn't enjoy the split. Okay, I didn't know. We've only done that on the last 2 or 3 magazines, so I didn't know if everybody knew that or not. So anyway, trivia tonight. I think it's simple. I think I left it simple this time. But we're going to give another one of these little tobacco cans. Velvet tobacco, all metal. Not Prince Albert this time, so we don't have to check and see if he's in there. Flip open lid. There again, these aren't the super high desirable cans, but they are cool. They are metal. They have a little bit of a following for them, and they're kind of neat. So, whoops, if I don't destroy it. Anyway, tonight's trivia question, as always, I will ask the question. I will hit the timer. We will have 90 seconds. If we don't get it in 90 seconds, then we will save the can for next week. Reason we do that is because we were getting to the point where we were sitting here for 3 or 4 minutes while people were going through videos trying to find them. So 90 seconds. This is probably fairly simple. I think somebody's probably going to get this one anyway. Then we're going to give away that Delco sign. In the video of all the Hutch Swap Meet goodies, what year was the Pontiac hood ornament? What year was the Pontiac hood ornament in the Hutch Swap Meet goodies video? Keep an eye on both formats. That's right. Number one had it right out of the gate, 1947. Figured that would be fairly simple. So we'll start a new pile for number one on his stuff. So that was boom. I thought that was that was pretty quick. I figured you guys would get it. I didn't think it'd be quite that quick, but that's right, Frank. Anybody that has a stick today doesn't have to worry about the car being stolen because most people couldn't drive it. That's right. Number one says Happy Halloween, everybody. That is a good point. It is Happy Halloween to everybody. We're gonna have another Hudson badge. Let's give this thing away. I knew you were expecting that, number one. I knew that dealer badge, that dealer sticker was going to be too obvious, so I skipped that. The Ford dealer sticker on the 64 Thunderbird that I just picked up. Oh, and by the way, guys, X-Ray's taking notes. Perfect. I still don't have my new mic. I broke my old mic. I think I told you that. I literally was getting ready to do a video, and I've got a little deal I plug into my phone. So I plugged it into my phone, and I had all my stuff, and I was walking over to do a video. Phone slipped out of my hand, landed right on the attachment, popped it off. It's been almost 2.5 weeks ago since I ordered a new one. I still don't have a new mic. So I'm still trying to keep videos out, but I know the sound and stuff has not been as good, and I've kind of hesitated on doing some of them until I get that new mic. So hopefully things will be getting a little better. What I put out this week was just kind of some stuff I threw together, other than the stuff I did in my buddy's yard, because I've already got that shot. So Pete says the interior of the Thunderbird was incredible. Tweety says, wire the neutral safety switch to a toggle switch. There you go. So anyway, let's give some stuff away. And guess what's going to happen after we give stuff away? Then we announce the new raffle. Who's in the big Buick oil can? Who's in here right now? Bunch of names in there. I'm sure you guys will see some stuff that looks familiar on there. Whose name is in there? All right, as we've been doing, I have these every week. So some of these names you will hear more than once because they add to the auction winnings, et cetera, every week. So some of these guys you will hear are in here multiple times. Tweedly D, this is the first week. Tweedly D is in. Jason Withrow, Charles Fitz, Zach Thompson, who hasn't been here with us tonight. Kind of weird. Reno Holland, Kenny Peterson, Ron Walensky, big job, and Alec Blanchett. Second week, Tim Page, David Woodcox, Zach Thompson, Jason Withrow, Kenny Peterson, Alec Blanchett. Third week, Alec Blanchett, Reno Holland, Dennis Chapman, Zach Thompson, and the last packet, Tweedly D, Mark Falcon, Kenny Peterson, Lee Carr, Charles Fitz, and big job Ron Walensky. If I did not read your name and you thought you were in this month, let me know so that we can figure out what happened and what went wrong and why I didn't get it. Those are the names that are in there. Each time they paid in, I put more slips in the big Buick oil can for them. So first off, I guess the goodie bag is going to be a freebie. So we're going to yank that name, and then that one goes back in the can. After that, once we pull your name on, we're going to give away 3 things, the Delco sign, and then 2 more. After that, then it's all then you only get 1 shot after that. So let's give away bag number 1, numero uno. There's Alex, there's Reno's. Let's put a name on this bag. That name is going to be Lee Carr. Lee Carr gets bag number 1. There we go. Now we got names on all of them. All right. Alex says, dang it. Alex still wanted all the bags. All right. Delco sign. That's right. Johnny says, G says we need a drum roll. David threw it up there for us. Ron Walensky, big job on the Delco sign. All right. So big job is now out. We've got 2 more pieces. A can and a license plate. It's a rougher can, but that's because it's an old can and it's a cool can. And the next 2 names, you're going to have your choice. The Champlin can, we had one of these we sold, and I had this other one. Like I said, it's rough, but you can still see the Champlin. And what's cool about it is it is an early can. It's all metal, was punched at the top. Definitely faded and worn, but kind of a cool piece. The other one, and this plate, when I grabbed it, I was like, I seen it and I almost didn't grab it. And I was like, no, wait a minute. That is earlier. Now, Missouri, the old Burgundy Missouri plates. I'm sure Jason will remember these. Missouri was Burgundy forever. This plate has a sticker on it from 88. So this was earlier than that, so early 80s. So this plate is 40 years old. So kind of crazy to think about that's even at that age. So I almost passed up on this. Like, no, that actually is as crazy as it sounds. The 80s is antique now. So anyway, Champlin can or the Missouri plate for the next 2 names. Your choice on the first one. Yep, Jason remembers them. So, all right, big job is out. So we're going to ship him a Delco sign. Alex likes that plate. That's the year he graduated. All right, what do we got next? Lee Carr. We got Lee again. This one does count, though, because the grab bag was a freebie tonight. So, Lee, what do you want, the plate or the Champlin can? Tim's back. So we'll give Lee a second. Hopefully he's still on with us. If not, we'll let the next person pick if we don't get Lee on. So let's see. Lee must have whizzed on electric fence to get this lucky. Yep. Yep. Congrats again, Lee. Everybody says, is Lee with us or not? Lee must have jumped off. Lee is usually pretty responsive. But I don't know what to give him because he buys plates and he buys cans. So I don't really know which one to give him. Lee's so happy he won, he ran to tell the wife. So, all right. Let's get the last name out of here. See if Lee jumps back on with us. So Big Job is out. Lee is out. If we've got one of those names, we'll draw again. And we got Lee again, so he's out. I think he bought in about every week. So That's right, and I actually didn't. I did hold those other license plates, Big Job, so maybe there's something to that. When Big Job paid for his license plates, he said, hold off till next week. I might buy something else. I think he just planned on winning. Lee, I don't know how many times Lee bought in, but I keep grabbing his name. I know he bought some about every week, but let's try this. There we go, Zach Thompson, and Zach's not on with us either. At least I haven't seen Zach tonight. Number one says Lee told his wife he got lucky 4 times tonight. She knocked him out with a frying pan. That could be true. So, anyway. So, we haven't heard from Lee, and Zach, I don't think, is on. So, you guys decide. Should we send Lee the Champlin can or the license plate? What do we think Lee's going to want? Since they're not on, we're going to choose for him. Can or license plate? Rusty says can. Let's get a few more votes and then we'll go with it. Bill says can. All right, everybody says can. Alex says Lee the plate. Most of it's can, so the can's going to win. We got a couple for the plate, but it's pretty much all can. So yeah, we got about 8 or 10 cans and about 2 or 3 plates for the can for Lee. So we're going to go with the Champlin can to Lee, the plate to Zach. And let's see. Yeah, that's right. Like Alex said, it's not like either one of them's going to go wrong either way because they both buy cans and they both buy plates. So, but yeah, there was a few people that said plates, but for the most part, it was cans. So, anyway. Ooh, get her all emptied out, and we're ready to go for next time. The Buick can's empty. It's ready for more names. But why? Why are we going to put more names in the Buick can? That's right. Big Job found the secret. He told me to hold his shipment, and it worked. So, everybody wants to know what the next raffle is. That's what we're doing. That's Kenny's already typing it. What's next? Oh, I think you're going to like it. Something different. I was thinking, I got one of them idea things. Yeah, we all know how that usually works out when you get one of them idea things. But now that's mine. I'm keeping that GM sign. That's for sure. I'll go give you a Hudson and an Auburn badge to drink about, but we've done a lot of signs. Obviously we've done several pump plates this year. About half what we've done has been signs. We've done a few other cool things. We did the Studebaker nose. We did the pedal car. We did a couple of bundle packs. I thought, man, what can we do? And I've got some other ideas. We've done some toys in the past. That's right. Randy says, I had a thought. Dangerous. Alec is guessing valve covers. We've done valve covers. We gave away a set of Hemi valve covers last year. Kenny just said, hold his shipment. But I thought, what do we all love? We've never done a raffle on. Nope, no steering wheels. Let's check it out. No, we're not giving away a whole engine. We're not giving away Gray Kitty because I can't catch her. And I actually got the second place prize lined out too as well. A couple weeks ago, we were doing auctions, and we had a really cool piece that some of you guys really digged. I had a minimum on it. I said, it's got to bring this. And it was towards the end of the auction, and some of you guys like, man, I already spent too much money. I mean, I would be in, but I already spent too much money. And so we threw it back in the box. So as I was thinking about what to do for this month's raffle, I saw that, and I was like, that's it. That's the ticket. Hood ornaments. We all love hood ornaments, right? So we're doing a badge bundle of hood ornaments. Yes. Obviously, the one we're talking about, the Dodge from a few weeks ago, I told everybody I wanted $100 out of it, and there was like 2 or 3 of you guys like, oh, man, I love that, but I just bought a bunch of other stuff. I can't spend more money tonight. So the Dodge Ram is the first one. A little bit of pitting, late 40s, I think, car, but a cool piece. See the chrome shine on that thing. Jason just says he loves me. So there's the first one. Well, if we're doing a Dodge hood ornament, then we ought to do a Chevy hood ornament, right? So we're going to do a $49.50 Chevy car hood ornament. We've sold 1 or 2 of these on here before. Cool, great shine on that thing. Pete's got his sunglasses back on. These are all original pop metal, bright, shiny chrome, few pits, but they're all originals. Check that out. And if we're doing a Dodge hood ornament and a Chevy hood ornament, we ought to do a Ford product hood ornament. So we threw a Mercury in as well. 49 to 51 era Mercury. There again, some pitting, but it's not chipped up. It's not broke up. Bright, shiny chrome. Jason says he's winning this one. So there we go. All 3, one-shot deal. Well, it seems like everybody's yeah, these would make a weapon, Big Job. These things are freaking heavy. All 3 coming right at you on this month's raffle. So there again, we haven't raffled hood ornaments. I thought we would do a cool set. We'll see if we'll see what kind of interest we get on this one. Now, obviously, when I was working on this, I got to thinking I need to let you guys know instead of just grabbing a couple things last minute, like I ended up doing it again today. That is going to be a bright and heavy box, that's for sure. Alec, I like they all have the same look, kind of like a rocket look. Yeah, they all have kind of a swooping type. So it's a cool deal. Plus the secret 4th hood ornament you don't find out about until you get it if you win. So Randy says it was a good idea. Perfect. I hope you guys like the idea. I hope you guys buy a lot of tickets because there's a little bit of dollars adding up here with all of these. So Reno says, I guess I'm in. I want the Chevy. So I'm trying to think ahead a little bit. And Anthony's here with us. As far as what I'm going to give away along with it. Because like tonight, I literally ended up, crap, I got to have a couple extra things for tonight's raffle. That's when I grabbed those last couple things last minute. So while I was working on this, I found another little ornament. I was like, well, that would be a great second prize. Big Job says, hold my shipment. This is chipped off in the back. I don't even know what it is. But I figured since we're doing hood ornaments, the second prize would be this little hood ornament. A little tiny hood ornament. Mid to late 40s. The Chevy's 49.50. The Dodge is the same era. The Mercury's 49.50. Yes. So they're all late 40s, early 50s. So we've got this little ornament. We'll give this away to the second name out of the bucket, out of the big Buick can. It's broke off back here and been ground down, but it's a neat little piece. So we'll give this away to the second prize. Is it a Hudson? I don't know what it is, number one. I have found it in a box of stuff. There's no numbers on it. I don't know what it is. It's just a cool little piece. Thought, well, shoot, that would make a good second prize for the hood ornament bundle for the November raffle. So there you guys have it. The main prize, the second prize will be another small hood ornament, but all 3 of them, the Chevrolet, the Dodge Ram, and the Mercury, all in one-shot deal. So far I've gotten a little bit of good, I've gotten some good feedback on that idea. Looks like you guys are going to like it. So hopefully that's right. It's Hood or November. That's right. Hood or November. Kenny digs it. Hope you guys like it. Hope you guys buy a lot of tickets because, like I said, there's some of these I could sell. Some of these are okay, but the Dodge has some value to it. And but I want to add them to your collection. They're duplicates for me. I want you to have them. And everybody likes hood ornaments. So Tim says he'd say it's a go. I don't really think there's been anybody on here that said I hate hood ornaments because they are too cool. So there we have it. The November raffle of the hood ornament bundle. So buy lots of tickets. What else is happening? Not much. A few more things to cover, and then we're going to wrap this thing up for the night. New inventory this week. I did get some cars picked up. Some of it was newer stuff. But I did pick up some interesting things. Obviously, the 64 Thunderbird we've already showed you on Friday night's video. The X-Ray Dean is begging already. Mine, please. Date. Tweely D wants to know the date. Good point, Tweely D. When are we going to do this thing? Yeah, that is a good point because it is the middle of the freaking month when this thing November ends. The last day of November is literally on a Wednesday. David W. says, if we hang them up, we're going to need shades all month. That's true. Great raffle for Christmas in November. I guess we will do it on the 27th. And then Christmas is on a Sunday night, so I don't know if you guys are going to want to do Christmas night, as well as New Year's Day is on Sunday night on the 1st. So we'll see what we're going to do on that. That's what Alex said, the weekend after Turkey Day, so that would be the 27th. So we will shoot for the 27th on this one. And then we will do the December raffle. We'll do that if we do a show on the 1st. I would imagine, I don't know if you guys want to do on Christmas night, but I would imagine New Year's night we can probably do because usually by that time things are pretty much wrapped up anyway, Hudson Badge. So we will shoot for the 27th on this raffle. Pete, wondering if Friday works. What is next Friday? Yeah, that should work, Pete. I should be around if you want to come get that Camaro on Friday. So yeah, just give me a shout and we'll see what we can get figured out. So obviously I picked up the 64 Thunderbird. You've seen that. Picked up a 62 Nova two-door hardtop. It is rough, but I had no early Novas in stock at all. So I went ahead and snagged that car when I had a chance to buy it. So I'll be getting you a video on that as well. Like I said, I picked up some later model stuff that I think is going to be worth hanging on to. Late 90s, early 2000s. Grand Prix, like 97 to 02 Grand Prix GTP supercharged. Got a few of those in the yard. I'm going to sit on some of those cars. I'm going to keep them around. I think there may be some demand for that. Lincoln Navigator, like a late 90s Lincoln Navigator, some of that type of stuff. I'm kind of starting to think, what people may be wanting 5 or 10 years from now. So I might be losing too. I may lose the gamble, but that's what I'm thinking. So some of that type of stuff as well. Auburn Badge. Big Job says New Year's with all the nobodies. So that's what I'm thinking. Maybe on January 1, we will probably look at doing an episode. Christmas night. I know by the end of the day on Christmas, we may go ahead and do maybe even a short episode that night, depending on what you guys want to do. Sometimes by Christmas night, either you're too exhausted to care or you're looking for any sort of an escape from all the holidays. So we may all need a break from everything else. We may need to get together on Christmas night as well. So we'll see how it works. We'll talk about it when we get a little closer to that. What's coming up this week on videos? I got a couple more from my buddy's yard. I'll get one of those up. Got to get the Nova shot. And I've got a few more sitting around here. We haven't shot them. I'm trying to haul some more cars this week as well. Toy Tuesdays. I've got the next several Toy Tuesdays lined up on toys. You saw the toys that I got at the Hutch Swap Meet. We'll try to squeeze those in maybe this Tuesday night. I bought another batch of toys last week. The toy I got from Tim Stanger, Mr. Good Pliers, a German wooden toy. I don't know anything about it, so we're going to check that out maybe Tuesday night. So we got a lot of cool stuff coming for Toy Tuesday as well. So you'll definitely want to check that out. Comments, Kenny, thanks for another great show. Perfect. I'll watch for your payment. It's a great crowd on here, that's sure. Let's get more people on here. Absolutely. I would like to see this grow a little bit more. We've got an awesome group on here, but I know you guys have friends and buddies that would fit right into this group of knuckleheads. Please invite them over. Tell them to come hang out with us, and let them know about what we do on here and how much fun we have. Tweety DJ says he's been drinking. Yeah, you're drinking too much after Christmas. True. Big Job says it would be excellent to see a Nobody's Christmas special. Number says only if Chad has a glass of Christmas cheer with us. That might be possible. If it's a short episode, yeah. If I've got to talk for 3 hours and 11 minutes, I got to stick with water for most of that. So Festivus for the rest of us. Absolutely, Bill. So anyway, that's what's coming up. We'll definitely get that stuff out. Definitely do some Toy Tuesday. Like I said, I got a lot of toys to check out that I've been picking up lately. You guys won't want to miss. Some more tin stuff, some duplicate stuff that's going to keep popping up here on the auctions. However, some of it is bigger like the grader, so there'll be some shipping on it. So just please bear that in mind. A few red lines, maybe even some extra red lines. We haven't sold any red lines. I don't know if you guys like red lines or not, but we may work some of those in. Alex says Christmas and New Year's specials on the Nobody Show. So you guys are starting to vote for already doing both of them. So we'll see how things shake out. Yeah, Bill, some Redline Hot Wheels. Jeff says after the 311, maybe I'll be singing. Yeah. If I had that much Christmas cheer after 3 hours and 11 minutes, I probably would be singing. So, and you probably don't want that to happen. That or maybe I'll get discovered. I could be discovered as a singer. That's probably not going to happen. So anyway, that's what we've got coming up. We will get Toy Tuesday planned out. We'll do that live. We'll have some other videos. We'll start off the week with a video from my buddy's yard. I'll get that Nova shot as well as a few of these other ones sitting around we haven't shared with you as well. Still got some more stuff in the new yard to get with you. Still want to do some informational type videos we've been talking about over time about some of the differences in some of the vehicles I've got in the yard, even though they may seem the same, things like that. So still lots of things working there. Number one says have Dad on for Christmas and let him tell some stories. Well, maybe we can talk to that. So Bill does says he's in if we got some red lines. So yeah, I need to go through them. When Addie's home, we're going to start digging through some stuff and getting some more duplicates out for you guys out of our stuff. So we'll see how things shake out. We'll see what we get put together, and we'll see what we can do for a Christmas and New Year's special since you guys are interested. Maybe you can dress up like Johnny in a plaid suit. Have to find a plaid suit for one thing, but it's not out of the realm of possibility, I guess. I don't know. But we'll see what we can figure out. Maybe we'll have to try to think about some fun stuff for some cool ideas or something different to do. I don't know. But we'll figure it out. We always do. We always have fun. No matter what we do, we always have fun. Ain't always right, but we still have fun. So I guess that's all that matters. But yeah, I would appreciate it if you would let some of your friends know to get on with this. I'd like to grow this a little bit. I don't want it to get so far out of hand we can't keep up with it, but we've definitely got some room for some more people in here, some room for some of your friends to come in and hang out. And it would be awesome if you do that and help us grow. So anyway, that being said, I think that's it. I think I'm through my notes. We had a great time tonight. We gave away some cool stuff. We had some fun with some goodie bags. We're going to ship out a lot of cool stuff. You guys are going to add some cool stuff to your collections. Hope you guys had a good time tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Still amazed that you keep coming back, but you do because you guys are what makes this a chat. That's why it's a chat. That's why it's not Chad sitting here talking. It's a chat because we all make this what it is. And if you got some friends that would be beneficial and be assets to the group, by all means, invite them over, have them hang out with us. So let's see. Randy says good night. Yes, I got to get with you too this week. Just lots of things happening, and I've got to get with you though. There's no doubt about that, Randy. Tony, I'm beat guys welding all day, going to go later. Perfect. Johnny D says happy Halloween. Absolutely. I hope everybody has a great Halloween. Pete says peace out. Tweedley says nice show. Glad you guys were here. Glad you guys made this what it is. Glad you guys continue to make this what it is, and make it a good time. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you Tuesday night, 7 o'clock Central Time, to check out some cool toys. Stay tuned for the new videos this week, and we definitely hope to see you here next Sunday night. Same bat time, same bat station, 7 o'clock Central Time, Sunday night live chat. More cool car stuff. Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks for making this what it is. We'll see you next week, if not Tuesday night.